Welcome back, everyone. This is episode 132. Look at me with the mic discipline of the Jiu-Jitsu Dummies podcast, brought to you by Black Belt Digital Marketing. Anything you need to build your business on or offline, website design, Google Ads, graphic design, printing, we can absolutely help. Check us out at Black Belt Digital Marketing on Instagram or our website, bbdigitalmarketing.com. You can request a free review of your entire online presence today. My name is Milton Campus. I'm a brown belt training out of South Florida. We got Bo and Christian behind the camera. Say hello, fellas.
Woo.
Woo. That's what it sounded like. Yeah. You just hit puberty. Don't forget to like, comment, download, share, and click that subscribe button. We'd really appreciate the support. Joining us today is the crew from Renzo Gracie Weston and one familiar face who trains with them as well. Miguel's back. A couple of quick shout-outs, guys. So thank you to our friends over at Flow and Roll. Hands down the best gi, custom gi and no-gi gear in the business. Don't believe us? Visit them on Instagram at flow_and_roll and check out all their custom designs. They've got a really cool pre-order program if you're a new gym starting out or you hate laying out $5-10 grand for all your gear. They'll put them on their website. Your students can order right from the website, and you'll get all your gear and any of the profits. So check them out again. Flowandroll.com. You get 20% off of any of your online orders. So if you order a gear or a belt or anything like that, use code JJD. Also, we got Leo Optics. Right, they're a sunglass and apparel company specializing in signature bamboo sunglasses. Their passion is rooted in the jiu-jitsu lifestyle, founded in Southern California with products reflecting the BJJ lifestyle. So you can get 10% off with code JJD at leooptics.com. And then we've got BioProTech. All right, this is a bioidentical alternative to human growth hormone. I currently take both of these. This is the BioPro and then the BioPro Plus with the Quarter Sleep. Yeah, it helps with anti-aging, metabolism, libido, immune system, skin, cognition, and then the Quarter Sleep is going to help you with sleep and stress. All of this with no needles, no side effects. You can check them out at bioproteintech.com and get $30 off with code JJD on any of their regularly priced kits. Basically, like if you got these two kits, it's going to be like almost $300. You'll be right there. Use the code, and yeah, man, that's it.
Does it come in acai flavor?
Acai? No, but I do love it. Everyone's always like, "Come on, man! Is it a sponsor?" I really do. I feel the difference.
Yeah,
you've heard me. You know what I say, right?
Yeah.
You know, got that. You're like a walking boner.
Oh yeah.
I was gonna ask, what do you say?
It's been great. I do disclose. I started taking Astroflave. What is it? Astroflave. Which was supposed to be like a testosterone booster, your natural, make your body produce testosterone.
Got it.
When I talked to these guys, he was like, I said, oh, do I need to stop doing this? He's like, no. He's like, works great together. Keep on doing what you're doing. Even if you're doing TRT, you can do this as well. It helps with that. Yeah. And it's been great.
RGR. Human growth hormone.
What are you saying? RGR?
Yeah.
It's HGH, no?
Yeah, but aren't the H's R's?
I say. Welcome back, Miguel. I give you those thinkers. So, okay, we've got Adrian and Enrico from Renzo Gracie Weston. But I'll let you guys introduce yourself, name, rank, serial number. Go ahead. You go first. I'm
Adrian. I'm the head coach at Renzo Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, and I'm also the owner. And this is one of our students, and Phenom. He's getting real good, real quick. Trying.
So your full name and your rank?
My name is Enrico Beltran Said. Last name is a little weird. Said Said. Up to you how you say that. I'm a purple belt training. I'm a purple belt training under Adrian, Renzo Gracie Weston, and yeah, that's who I am.
Yeah. Tell for the people that don't know you, Miguel.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Name, rank, serial number.
Miguel. Blue belt.
Blue belt.
Renzo Gracie Weston.
Yeah.
Just out here, getting better.
Yeah.
Yeah. Slowly.
Is he training? Is he training?
I train.
Okay. All right. Just gotta make sure he's showing up.
At a minimum 2 days a week.
Ugh.
At a minimum. I'd live there if I could.
Yeah.
I just started getting disciplined again and doing 2 morning classes, and then because I'll also train when my children train.
Okay.
So it's like my wife will drop them off.
The
kids have never left.
Okay.
It's just every summer they go up north, and then we were just up north for I don't know something. I don't even think it was a holiday.
You did a family trip, right?
Oh, it was Halloween. That's what it was. We
Yeah.
went trick or treating in my wife's old neighborhood. That was pretty cool. It
What,
snowed on us.
Yeah?
Yeah. And she got a tour of her old house, which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, training, man, just trying to get in there.
Yeah.
I like the morning classes. It really does jumpstart your day. Like you feel super refreshed.
I love weekends because I do the morning classes on the weekends.
Yep.
Yeah. So this is Enrico Miguel. I think you're the guy that Miguel keeps on telling me about.
I've been telling you about Enrico since like literally the first day I went to that. He was my first day.
Roll, yeah.
First roll.
Really?
I was just like sitting next to him. It's like, okay, we're both blue belts. It's like, man, this kid's long. And he was short. He was probably like 3-4 inches shorter than when I started like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And it was just like, it was evident, like the first roll. Never interacted with him ever. It was just like, man, like fluid. But on top of that, it's just always in the right spot, applying the right amount of pressure, not exerting any extra energy. Just, it's like, all right, dude, it's like, you just know.
How long you been training, Enrico?
7 years since I was 12.
So you're one of those. So it's like the blue, I mean, in a good way. I mean, it's just that you've been training forever. So the blue belt is definitely, there's a higher level to that blue belt.
I would say it's a big pool of skills as a blue belt,
What age again? What?
I've been training since I was 12, so it's been 7 years. I'm 19 right now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And a product of your dad's a professional athlete.
He used to be.
I'd say he still is, you know.
Yeah.
He's a good guy.
He's getting there.
Yeah.
What did you do? What did
he
play?
played basketball.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
We should have you stand up so they get the true, see what this kid looks like.
So you know, to quote my Lord and Savior, Joe Rogan, he talks about, he's like, I wonder what the sport would be like if athletes who get paid millions and millions of dollars would do, because we all know there's no money in jiu-jitsu, dude.
Now there is.
It's getting there, but there's no, dude, squeezing $1 out of a black belt, you're gonna get the white belts.
I've
you're gonna
said
get
the same
blue
thing
belts.
for a long time. I'm seeing the light.
Bro, you seen a black belt show up in no-gi class? Unless he's sponsored, he's showing up in what? He wore a purple shirt. He don't care. Dude, he's coming in there. He's taking heads, right? Or she, whatever. But what I'm saying is, like, when you get a professional athlete, that caliber of a human being,
with that discipline,
that work ethic, the genetics, you know what I'm saying? Blessed with genetics.
If you don't mind, can we just get the camera? Do you mind standing up? Because you're really fucking tall, which was surprising.
I'm 6 foot.
How tall are you? 6'1"?
I'm 6
Jesus, 19. You probably you might not have stopped growing yet.
I think I'm still growing.
The arms, dude.
You're that guy that the guys my age don't want to roll. They're like, that guy is too long. I'm gonna get triangled the fuck out of him.
Dars.
Anyways.
And but what I'm saying is, it's like, this is the new generation, and like when hard work, when hard work and talent meet, this is the byproduct.
Adrian, how long have you been training now?
I've
been training as a kid as well.
I started with Taekwondo when I was 7.
Okay.
And when I was 17, my senior year in high school, I started training Jiu-Jitsu.
Okay.
And it's been now 10 years.
10 years.
10 years
Okay.
now. Turned 27 last 2 weeks ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so,
Happy birthday.
Thank you. Thank you.
Your birthdays are pretty close to each other.
You're in my 30s.
You gotta be one of the younger. Do you know if you were like the youngest Renzo Gracie owner?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know. I didn't ask.
I mean, that's pretty young to own a gym, so that's good. Congrats.
Yeah.
So you started with Taekwondo,
Yeah.
and then tell us about we get so many. It's everybody's like, I did karate when I did karate for a couple months when I was younger. I sprained a thumb in another sport and I never went back. I tell the story. My sensei punched a little kid in the stomach, so when I sprained my finger, it was just like, oh, thank God, I don't got to go back. And I never went back. I was just a little kid and I was scared. But tell us, how did you transition into jiu-jitsu? How did that happen?
I always enjoyed it, and then when I started high school, I didn't enjoy it as much, so I started going to the gym. Like more like high school kid stuff. And one day I was in my gym and I saw 2 guys rolling. Okay. And I knew of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu a little bit because actually my coach in Mexico was one of the first people in the town to start getting into Jiu-Jitsu. This was like 2010 when it started to get popular.
Okay.
People started to learn more about it. So I knew some techniques already, but never really rolled, because what he would do, he would let us spar Taekwondo, but he would be like, okay, guys, if you take each other down, you could strangle each other.
Okay.
That's fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, we would be essentially doing like MMA or something like that.
Okay.
So imagine like taekwondo sparring, but with singles and doubles, and I would always lose. So I asked these two guys, like, hey, like, what is this? Like, this is jiu-jitsu? And they're like, yeah. They told me to buy a gi, and then I show up the next day. They didn't charge me anything for like the first 6 months.
Yeah.
It was this black belt. His name is Rick Del Vecchio, like the pizza store.
Okay.
I think he moved to Texas, I think, and I haven't heard from him ever since. But my first 6 months was two practitioners just trying to get me up to speed so I could be somewhat of a challenge to them.
Okay.
And then eventually they left, and I went to Wilson Govea took over that same gym.
I know the name. UFC, right?
Yes.
Son trains as well.
I don't know.
Yeah, his son. Yeah. His son trains. Who's the guy that bought us the whiskey bottle? He trains under them.
I forgot
his name. I'll think of it.
George?
Black House. The guy who owns Black House MMA in Miami.
No, he owns American.
Not Govea. I think the guy that they train under.
I don't know who
I'm
owns
drawing a
Black House.
blank.
Yeah. I could look, but I'm too lazy. But go ahead.
Well, yeah, pretty much. So I trained under him for like 2 years. He actually gave my blue belt.
Okay.
And then we moved to Weston, and I started training there at Renzo Gracie.
With Stan.
Correct. Yeah. So after the pandemic, the opportunity presented itself because like I was already teaching all the classes for like the past 2 years. My coach was living in Utah. Stan was living in Utah.
Mm-hmm.
So I come up to him like, hey man, like how about you know, like let me take over the academy, sell me the academy. And he said yes. My father-in-law helped me get a loan. He gave me a bunch of money and started now not only teaching but now managing the place too.
Okay.
Yep.
And first thing we did, we got a projector so we could watch like movies.
UFC
and
fights.
No, you don't watch UFC fights there. No, you don't.
I remember this.
No.
He came up to me. He's like,
YouTube.
Yeah. Okay, there you go.
No, we watch UFC highlights that are posted by the UFC on YouTube.
Exactly. Fully licensed.
Word.
Yeah.
he was like, I wonder if I should get new floors or a projector to watch movies on.
The projector, duh.
We put it to a vote. It was unanimous. Only one person voted for the floors.
Wanted new mats.
The one thing that I really do love about jiu-jitsu, and it's pretty evident across the board, you know, I've been to a lot of gyms and these guys have been too, they train all over the place, is that everybody that trains has a skill set besides jiu-jitsu. So it's like if you need something, it's like electrician, guy to mount it, guy to like, how do we do this? There's always a guy that's like.
You know what's funny? I just got a referral from a guy that's doing started a podcast. We're going to shout him out a little bit more. We have a conversation next week. It's like Jiu-Jitsu Biz, not Biz Journal, but like Jiu-Jitsu Biz something. He was just following me, and he saw that I own Black Belt digital marketing, and he sent me a referral, and we booked it. Where the guy's working with us already. It's a dentist, purple belt, but that's what he's doing. He's putting together this like almost a yellow pages for people who train jiu-jitsu, but own businesses that do something else outside
That's
of it.
So it's
interesting that you said that.
And it's also something I've noticed over the years. It's the jiu-jitsu practitioners that are hobbyists.
Yeah.
And the jiu-jitsu parents who train and who jiu-jitsu, they have their children in jiu-jitsu, they're all very goal-oriented.
Okay.
They want to be successful. They might not come of means. They might not have means, but you could tell that they're going to survive. They're going to strive. They're going to eventually make it. And the community in jiu-jitsu, especially like our community, and I felt the same thing, when I was at Felipe's and stuff like that. It's like everybody's there to help out. Mm-hmm. The assholes get weeded out every single time.
Absolutely.
The creeps get weeded out every single time. The people who can't learn to stop spazzing get weeded out every single time. And then if you get your blue belt, you quit. It's like, it's normal.
Let me give him a proper shout out because I know we're going to be doing some stuff with him, and maybe we'll have him as a guest. It's BizJitsu_podcast. So again, he just heard about the podcast, saw that I own Black Belt, sent me a referral. But yeah, I mean, it is. I know, I try to keep my money. If I can use a client, I use a client. If I can use a friend, if I can use somebody that's specific to jiu-jitsu, I feel like I'm just going to get something better. And those guys that do last, like you said, it's like, that you can trust them. Like you trust in them with your neck and your arms and your arms, right? So. Yeah. So we didn't come back to the gym, but is this the young man that just fought Combs?
Yeah.
You beat John Combs
in ADCC?
Yeah.
Talk to us about it.
So this year I got injured around February. I hurt my lower back, and I was out for 6-7 months. Like I couldn't train for 6-7 months, and this tournament coming back was my first one back.
Okay.
And my only goal was to not get injured. That's all I wanted to do, right?
It's hard to roll like that though, because you feel like a little gun shy.
Yeah, no,
right?
it's not like the best mindset to have, and I know that. But for this tournament, I wanted to exaggerate that mindset so I wouldn't get hurt. Because last time when I hurt myself was in a tournament.
Okay.
So I just wanted to exaggerate that a little bit. So like I kept telling myself that I didn't want to get hurt. So it's Saturday, the brackets come out. My first match, John comes. I'm like, oh.
Is this the one is this Jersey? This was
Orlando
up north?
Open.
Oh, Orlando,
Yeah,
okay.
November 4th, happened around 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
So I go on the brackets. Brackets just came out. I was like, all right, John Combs, #1 seed is your first match. I'm like, oh, all right, let's see what we can do here. But I wasn't like, oh, I'm gonna lose, it's a waste of time. I was excited, right? Because I was happy to be back competing, and I was like, well, you know, I'll try my best. I don't know. Like, I'm not gonna think I'm gonna lose. I'm not gonna think I'm gonna win. I'm just gonna do it, you know. And so throughout the match, he passed my guard. I was down 3-0. He passed my guard, and with around 1 minute left, he passed my guard again, and I locked up a buggy choke where he didn't get points for it because he was in a submission. And then I transitioned to a triangle, and there were like 20 seconds left at this point, and then my coach was like, just pull in the head. I didn't have time to get an angle, so I pulled with everything I could, and then like everything I could, and he tapped with 5 seconds left. Wow. So it was very like I don't know if cinematic isn't the word, but it was very like
surreal. Like people would say surreal.
Exactly.
Like, exactly. What just happened?
Yeah.
Right?
I was like, what? I couldn't believe it.
Your mind is processing the win and like, did this really happen? And where am I? And,
exactly.
Right? There's a lot going on.
Yeah.
So congratulations.
Was that your first ADCC trials?
It was an open. So
it was an open?
Yeah, it was an open. Yeah.
So open is more like tournament style? Is it more
like you know how IBJJF does like Miami Open?
Okay.
It's the same thing, yeah. So ADCC now, they have like opens, which is just like IBJJF, but it's their rule set. And then trials, they have like, I believe it's 2 per country, right? So the East Coast just happened in New Jersey a couple weeks ago. And then West Coast, I believe, is going to happen next year around March. I don't know if they released the date yet. So there's like 2 in US, 2 in Europe, 2 in Brazil, 2. So I believe there's been 1 or 2 European trials so far, and 1 the East Coast.
Yeah. So how did you do the rest of that tournament?
I lost the second match.
Anybody a name or anybody in particular? Or
no, it was just a random guy. I think so. Throughout the match it was 0-0, but I felt I was very dominant. I was on his back, and I had double wonders, and he like got Kimura off of it, and he tapped me with it. But and like,
were you still in that mindset of like, oh shit, I still don't want to get hurt? Or did you come off the combs like, fuck this, I'm good. I don't got to worry about that. Was it still a thought in your mind?
Yes, I would say so. I would say so, because I was so like, I really didn't want to get hurt again, you know?
Yeah.
And like when I tapped, I was happy. I was like, oh, okay, it's fine. I'm not injured. This is great. This is all I wanted. But then a couple of days went by, and I was watching the footage. I'm like, dude, how did I lose that? Then I got mad at myself. And then I was like, I shouldn't. I know that I'm aware that it's like you shouldn't go into a tournament just hoping to not get injured. I know obviously I'm there to win. That's the whole point. But for this tournament specifically, I wanted to exaggerate that mindset because I didn't want to get hurt again. And I compete again tomorrow, and I'm not like scared or anything like that. You know, it's jiu-jitsu. It's a martial art. Are you
going up to... Where are you competing tomorrow?
There's Onaga in Miami.
Onaga, okay.
Yeah.
I know, what is IBJJF? Is it Atlanta this weekend?
It's the same day.
Some of my teams are going. Okay.
You're going to go to the Naga tomorrow?
Yeah. There were more people in my bracket at the Naga than in Atlanta. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm now like, oh, great. I didn't get injured. I'm good, you know? And that happened a couple weeks ago, and I've been back for around 2 or 3 months since my injury, and I feel great. Yeah. So I'm excited.
What exactly was the back injury? Do you know? My back's hurting, or did you go to the doctor? And
no, I went to the doctor.
You've been diagnosed with something.
So it was bad. It was weird because when I got injured, I went to a couple of different doctors. I would ask the same question, and I would get a different answer every time. Right?
Welcome to the American medical system.
Exactly. So I heard it was a herniated disc. I heard it was just inflammation. I heard it was sciatic. I didn't know. and this happened in February up until like July, August. I didn't know what was wrong. Like I would try to work out with the trainer. I would stretch. I would do my best to try to, I would do anything, and it wouldn't work out. Right? Like it wouldn't heal. So then in August, I went to Brazil. I'm from Brazil. I went there with my family as just vacation, right? And we were going like on trails and waterfalls and stuff. But we also took the opportunity to see a couple of doctors there. And the medicine there is amazing, really, really good. And so I went to see a physical therapist and then like a spine doctor. And he ordered me to do some tests that were like more bulletproof to see if there was actually something there, because when he looked at my MRI, he said, there's no disc. Like, you don't have a herniated disc. You're fine.
That's good news.
Yeah, I was very relieved. And then I went to the physical therapy right after. He told me to do a couple of stretches like, dude, you don't have anything. You don't have anything. What's happening here is that I'm constantly thinking about my back, so I feel the pain. And it's true, because before I went to the doctor when we were on vacation, I would go to like trails, waterfalls, jumping, swimming all day. I would feel no pain, like nothing. And then I would get back to the hotel. I would remember the condition that I've been feeling pain, and it would come back.
Mind's a powerful thing.
Yes. So
it could also be a combination of like, the stress of competing, plus, you still have a life outside of jiu-jitsu.
Like I hold stress in my back and my shoulders, and when I'm stressed at work, the headache.
Yeah, I'm also gonna say like he's in 2 years he's grown like 4 or 5 inches.
Yeah.
And he's over 18. So
I used to get chest pains, and they just said it would like your chest expanding when I was a kid. Like be like, oh, why does that hurt? And like your body's growing. So
and your game's changed too since you've been injured.
Yes.
You're much more fluid. You don't invert as much.
Yeah.
So and where did you wind up with that?
So what my PT told me is like, the example he gave me is that made sense to me. Is like, if you're in the street and then a guy robs you, every time you go to that same street, you're going to feel a little bit insecure. You're going to feel a little bit. So I would always be worried that I have this condition. So I always brace myself, or like whenever I would bend down or think about before I laying down, I would always worry about it. Yeah. And when I did that, I felt pain. And he basically said like, do these like stretches 2 times a day, see what the doctor tells you. But I'm telling you, like, you don't have anything, and don't worry about it. Like, really, just don't worry about it.
And how do you feel today?
Great.
You feel good?
I feel no pain.
Yeah.
You're
talking about it so much today. Now you're going to leave. You're going to be like, hey, Adrian, my back hurts today. What's going on that fucking podcast?
Yeah, I mean, like, I have to be careful. Like, I stretch before training. Like, I'm mindful of it. But, like,
he was stretching before he got here.
Yeah,
I was.
That's why we were late.
Yeah.
I also want to say that Adrian leads from the front. Like, he also competes, and he's no slouch. Usually, are you competing tomorrow too?
No, we have a Friendsgiving party to set up.
Okay.
Oh, okay. You're going in that early?
Well, yeah, we gotta set it up.
I got you.
Gotta clean the mess.
I'll be there.
There you go.
I got you.
So tell us, you compete as well?
Yeah, I haven't really competed this past few months. I think last couple tournaments I did were in New Breed. We had one IBJF open plan for Chicago, but they canceled our flight, so I wasn't able to make it to that one.
Okay.
But once the academy runs itself a little bit more, I'll definitely go back, be more consistent. Right before I got my black belt, every couple months I was traveling, going to Indianapolis and Oklahoma to compete.
Okay.
But it's, it slowed down a little bit.
So, we were talking about in the last episode, when I was at white, blue, and purple, I only did new breeds because they were local. I live in Coral Springs Gym, beautiful. Hardly anybody there. Never anybody my age or weight. Always with younger, compete against younger guys. And so, like anytime anybody brought up new breed for a really long time after that, I'd be like, it's just new breed. But they've gotten big, and I went and there was like nobody there. There was like no spectators, not that many competitors, and now it's completely different. Like they're actually doing a pretty good job from what I understand. I haven't been to one. I haven't competed in one, but I see them. I've been to one as a spectator. I went to say hello to Flo and Earl, and the place is fucking jam packed. It's not like that. Right? It's not like the no frills version of IBJJF anymore.
I would say it's the local circuit.
Yeah.
The new breed that happens in either in Miami or Coral Springs. Yeah. It's always like, A&M is out there, Wagner's is out there, Fight Sports guys are out there, the Henzos are out there, GFT isn't really, they got broken up, right?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think they got broken up.
I think Fort Lauderdale closed. They're still around.
But it's all the local guys, the Palm Beach guys. all of them. And I think it's a cool thing because it's like
the only thing that I don't like is I still understand like if there's nobody in your bracket, they will, combine you with.
I mean, you're already there to do jiu-jitsu. No, you spent the money. It's like,
but as somebody at 50, I'm like I don't want to show up. I'm fighting guys that are half my age already. Like I do want to see how I'm going to do against somebody my age and weight.
You got to
I've never gone against anybody my age and weight.
BJJF.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That's the thing.
That's the only thing is like there's not enough people that are signing up at my age.
It's not there yet.
Yeah,
dude, there's not a lot of guys who are 50 that are doing, let alone doing jiu-jitsu, but then competing. Side
note, Tom from our gym. He did he double golded in gi and double golded.
Black belt yet?
I think I'm pretty sure that he's going to get his black belt from not Wagner, from Cyborg.
Okay.
Because he does, he trains with us, but he mostly trains down there in the mornings.
Yeah.
So I believe I don't want to say he told me, but I'm pretty sure that he was going to get it in December at their ceremony. And now that he just double golded it at gi and no gi at an IBJJF, he's definitely gonna.
Adrian, you would love this guy, man. He's like, physio,
judo black belt,
judoka, but also like a master in Eastern medicine.
Like he's got a doctor title in Brazil.
Brazilian family of killers. The whole family killers. Kids.
He's got
and
2 sons. His wife does CrossFit.
His son's choked me out plenty of times.
His son, like. When I see him, I think of his son. He's not as tall as you, but his son is like super, thin and long. And,
But he's got an armbar. Like, first of all, you're getting your freaking flyer miles. This dude will throw you all around.
Is he your first?
Huh?
He was my
first role. Yeah.
Tell the story. Do they know the story?
I don't know if they do, but it was like so. Like my daughter had been doing jiu-jitsu now for maybe a couple months, and I'm like fat and stupid. And I'm just like, what am I doing? Because I wrestled in high school. I did combatives in the military. Like just one-on-one tennis, anything like that to me is fun. So I was like, I'm already here. Might as well get started. I still had my mentality, my wrestling mentality, but I had I don't know, Barney body. And so I was like 230, dude. I was pretty fat. And yeah, but you're all muscle, dude, because of the BioPro.
You're 230?
I'm 230, yeah.
And so anyways, a couple classes. First class, I get Tom as my partner, and then usually, your partner ends up being your first role, depending on the class structure.
Tom the bald guy? Is he bald?
Yeah.
Is he Brazilian?
Yeah.
Oh, I know who he is.
You know Tom?
Yeah, he's he actually helped me with my back. He's
yeah. How'd you get introduced to him? Do you know? Do you remember?
Let me think. I think my dad was just trying to look for people who could help on my back, and he found about it. He trains at Fight Sports.
He trains at Fight Sports. He's been again, you know me with names, but he's been in the UFC. He's cornered.
He works with
UFC
Gilbert.
guys.
Yeah.
Gilbert Burns and his brother. Right, he's really good friends with them, and he's trained a lot.
Yeah.
But that's Tom. Yeah, that's him.
So first live roll, He's,
at this, you do not know that he's also at that point he was a brown belt in judo.
No, I didn't.
And you didn't know.
Yeah. So, anyways, he does a Sasai Sumi Kuriyashi. I mean, I'm just legs up, almost touching the ceiling tiles, land on my back. I don't know how to break fall.
Welcome to Fight Sports. There was still Fight Sports back then.
Yeah, and he just does a sick Toriano pass, but when you drop your elbow on their chest, that elbow shoulder just comes in hard, and then he holds me in side control. And he's so tight, his mouth is right next to my ear, and he's like, fight for your life. And he just held me there.
That's him 100%.
Yeah, he's like, fight for your life. And I'm just like, oh, God.
When I roll with him, I'm I've always been I definitely, the years that I rolled with him, I came back after post-COVID. I had the knee injury, so I was pulling guard a lot. I blew out my knee rolling my coach the day before I was going into quarantine for COVID. It was just at the beginning. So out for 9 months, but.
Miss your morning routine, BioPro.
special thank you to the crew over at Flow and Roll for all their support. Flow and Roll is renowned for their incredible no-gi rash guards, shorts, and leggings. Flow and Roll has quickly become the premier custom apparel provider for academies big and small throughout the United States. Reach out today to discuss your custom order and ask about their incredible pre-order program. You can send an email to flowandroll@gmail.com or visit their Instagram at flow_n_roll and shoot them a direct message. And yes, they can create an awesome custom gi for your academy as well. Visit flowandroll.com to check out their awesome designs, and while you're there, pick up a Jiu-Jitsu Dummy signature tee exclusively at flowandroll.com. And remember, you'll get 20% off your purchase of t-shirts, rash guards, or gis with code JJD.
Gym was, wasn't open. Wasn't supposed to be open, right? I guess. Did you own it already at COVID? Pre-COVID,
No.
Did you own your gym?
No, not yet.
No, we didn't know if we were supposed to be open or not. Like black trash bags on the windows, and they were open. But if there was a time to blow out my knee, that was it.
Yeah.
And when I came back, I guess Tom was really there more, and I would always pull guard because I was so scared of injuring the knee. I was just like, I probably wasn't really. I probably shouldn't have been rolling it. I didn't do physical therapy. I did a little physical therapy, like on video chats with like a PT, and like I wasn't doing anything to take care of it, and I would roll with him, but I would always pull guard, and it's like he passed my guard like hot knife through butter, and so I was always winding up in his side control, and he would be like, "Come on, do something," and I'm like, "Do you know what it's like to roll?" He's not a big guy. He's strong.
He's strong.
He's not this big guy, but he's got a judo and jiu-jitsu background. And it was like a night, but now I don't pull. I will not pull guard. I don't pull guard that much anymore. Definitely not with him, because it's just going to be the same. You just got held down. He's too strong. But go ahead.
I was just saying, like, that's jiu-jitsu culture. I'm sure you could speak to it. Like, you've been to a lot of gyms, like all the different styles, right? Like, you got like the pressure people. Yeah. You got like the flowy people. Yeah. You got like they're just setting up traps the whole time.
I mean, Tom specifically. I mean, he's trained Fight Sports Miami. That's pressure, and then when you think you have nothing else, a little bit more pressure, and then kill.
Yeah.
And I think the more difficult body type to deal with is Enrico body type. When you have a really tall kid,
oh boy,
that's super flexible. Yeah. Like there's been time we're sparring and I have him on side control, and somehow his foot gets around my hip and he slides out and he's got my back.
And now you're like, we didn't have you stand up, but you're pretty.
I'm short.
Yeah, you're shorter than but you're freaking tall. You're tall as well. How tall are you?
The doctor says 6'2", but 6'2"? When I stand next to people that are actually 6'2", I'm a little bit shorter.
Yeah, okay.
So I don't know, maybe like 6'1.5".
I don't know if you saw that picture. It's like that I sent you.
Yeah,
remember from the gym? It's
I probably got to look at that.
It's where it's like small, medium, large.
Yeah,
like that's literally how it goes. Yeah, it's also by rank. Well, no, I guess not really, because large is.
Also, kids, his body type will throw those boogie chokes.
Okay.
And those will. If you guys have gone out in the academy, we have a video where this guy, I'm not gonna say who he is, Enrico has him on a boogie choke. He goes to stand up.
You know who you are.
Yeah, if you're watching, you know who you are.
I'm trying to think of, is it, okay, I'm not gonna say who it is, but
starts with an A. And he goes to stand up, and Enrico still got the boogie choke, and he goes unconscious, and Enrico gets slammed, right on the floor.
Yeah,
really? It was fine.
I was fine. But
what about the other guy?
What other guy?
The one who went out.
Well, that's the one who went out.
Well, no, but Enrico hit the mat. You hit the mat.
Yes, because he stood up and I was like hanging off of him, and then he like slammed me, and I thought, well, like, why did he slam me? But it's because he passed out standing up.
Dude, the first time I got buggy choked, I don't think I even left the parking lot. I was in the parking lot, counter to buggy choke.
Well, at the beginning of the buggy choke, when everybody started doing it, the counter was like a counter.
There's like so many levels.
Like, the counter was another buggy choke, right?
At this
That's what
gym.
he does to me now. He just buggy chokes me too.
Yeah.
I think the culture in our gym.
My forearm on his throat.
And
you push away.
Doesn't feel good.
A compliment to Adrian. He's somehow developed a culture in the gym where we're like a competitive gym that doesn't push competition. Like everybody could compete or whatever. There's levels, man. Like there's blue belts at our gym. Give a shout out to like guys like Gian, who also coaches there, Coach Matt. These guys are, and they're different styles too. It's like, Matt's a steamroller, dude. Like this guy, he trains at our gym. These guys are flowy as hell. Matt is a 10,000-pound steamroller.
He's a tank. I have
Yeah.
some funny stories about Matt, by the way.
Yeah.
I would like to share them later.
Yes, let's do it.
You know, so
Here's
it's,
some dirty laundry.
so it's like anytime I feel cocky, I'll purposely pursue what I know is a tough role.
Yeah.
To just get a slice of humble pie. And dude, there's so many varieties of humble pie you could get at this gym.
Yeah.
Just like smashed, limbs. We have a resident black belt, and he's very unassuming, nice man, up on the age. Good luck taking his back.
Yeah.
Good luck passing his guard.
Yeah,
And
I don't even need to know his name. I know exactly who you're talking about.
and your arm is gone.
Yeah.
Every single. You know the arm collector stickers you gave me?
Yeah.
I gave them all to him. I was like, these are yours.
Yeah. I love figuring people like that out. Like if they're just I don't want to say smashing everybody, but like just submitting, because smashing, I don't want to say like they're a bully, but somebody who's just like on fire in the gym all the time. Like I'll watch them, whether, if I'm on the wall or I just see them rolling after class, and I just love figuring it out. I love I know what would work. I know it would work, and then that doesn't work, and then I go back to the drawing board again and let's figure it out. I have somebody in the gym that I'm doing that with currently. I'm definitely not going to say his name, but I figured out that I know how to frustrate him, and then the frustrating opens up doors. That's a strategy. Yeah, he's also a judo guy, and I'm not saying that I beat him every time by any means, but I went from him being able to submit me to now he's not submitting me at all, and now I'm frustrating him. Very rarely do I submit him, but when I do, I'm just like, okay, you just got to frustrate him, because he loves just like butterfly sweeps. So I just kind of figured out some things to keep him in that position, and now he can't sweep me. So I've just figured that out. And now it's okay, now let me work on the next problem. But that's what I love about jiu-jitsu, is figuring those things out. But it's
dude, I had a guy submit me the other day for the first time, and he verbally, after I tapped, he went, yes. And he earned it. He legitimately earned it. And I've been
what belt was he? What rank?
We're same rank, but
okay.
Yeah, and but it was just it's just so funny, because I know the feeling of a guy that they got your number.
Yeah.
And then you get it.
Yeah.
I didn't even get mad. I was just I get it, bro.
Have you ever done that?
That's happened to me, but
I've never celebrated. I might have celebrated in here,
same.
but it's never come out here.
Me neither.
Yeah.
In the car. Yeah. God, is it?
How about you?
It was the other way around. So I was going with this guy, and I was going easy with him, but I don't think he got the message. And then when he tapped me, I saw him. He went just like this. But I'm like, dude, I'm warming up. I'm not
the same guy, is it?
It's
not the same guy.
We'll
compare notes.
Yeah. But I was like I didn't say anything. I wasn't offended. I just thought it was funny. He was so excited, and I'm like I'm not
how about you, Adrian? I mean, as a coach and a gym owner, I'm sure you see it as well.
Yeah. I get upset at them when they celebrate.
Yeah.
Imagine being on the other side and you're a opponent, you submit you, and he get a highlight on you. You would want him to be respectful.
Yeah. So can you tell him about the chat? Well, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was gonna say, I think last weekend we did a new breed, and one of our guys he beat the guy, and he was just like bang on his chest, and so I'm like, hey, dude, relax.
Easy.
I don't like that at all. I think I'm a fan of the old school way of the martial art. It's celebrate when you get off the mat. Shake hands, get your arm raised, and then celebrate with your team later. But this whole ripping open the gate, okay.
Go
I'm just not the not the hugest fan.
So, also, you're in a local tournament, if you win worlds, go crazy.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Worlds ADCC for sure.
Yeah.
Do a cartwheel.
Alex.
Backflip. You got the energy. Do a backflip after you win worlds. I'm
not sure if Alex listens to the show, but I'm gonna out Alex.
Which Alex? Barber
Alex just came. We have a training partner. He's a purple belt. He's been out for a little bit,
he's
health
great.
reasons. He came back. He's back. He used to do he go an air check when he he had his list of people that he couldn't submit or that he wanted to submit, and he would do an air check. And and
I think it's all context based, though. You know what I'm saying?
But,
he doesn't mean it in a bad way.
No, he's just a cocky motherfucker. That's
how he is.
Yeah, he's just a cocky motherfucker.
But he'll go out of his way to do you a favor. You know what I mean?
Super. I get my haircut from him every Saturday. He's my boy. He's my friend, so I could talk about him. But we had actually we were on the outs for a little bit because one time we were doing it was just like catch and release, right? So just show so that you got to keep on rolling, don't stop for 5 minutes. And he gets me in a triangle, and I'm like, okay, waiting to and he just starts cranking on my neck, pulling my head and tightening it up, and I'm just like, what's up? And when he I didn't tap. And I got out, and then like I was on the floor, and he was getting up, and I like threw a kick at him, but like I didn't catch him and then we like almost got into it, and the coach was just like got in between us, and he's like Alex went outside, and the coach was like made me roll with him right there, and made me roll with the coach like right now, get this out, get out the frustration and roll it out, and we rolled for like a minute, and I was just like I was so pissed off. I was like no, I don't want to do it, and I just didn't listen to him. That's the guy that like then we were on the outs for a while. So then he was air checking everybody as he would get people, and I think he's tapped me once, and I was just like, when he caught me, in my mind I said, if he fucking air checks me right now, the next roll I'm going to murder him on the next roll, and he didn't, and he has since been gotten more humble, and he stopped doing that.
That's good. I'm glad.
Yeah,
I'm glad a 40-year-old man has grown up.
Sorry, Alex. I rolled with him the other day. He's just back. I mean, he's like literally like maybe under 5 classes that he's been to.
Yeah.
And he wound up. We drilled and then we rolled, and he goes. So we're rolling okay, and he winds up like he sees Felipe. He sees the coach walk over. And I don't see the coach, but I'm like, why is he all of a sudden going harder? And I like turn and I see the coach, and I'm like, oh. So then I picked it up as well, And then I told him, I said, I looked at the coach, I said, you saw what he did, right? And he goes, yes. I go, yeah. I go, you motherfucker, you picked it up just because you saw him, like you wanted to like impress.
I want to ask a question to Adrian. Adrian, do you do this on purpose?
What?
Do you purposely like walk, like if somebody's kind of like, you like walk up next to them so they know that you're watching to just kind of like turn them up a little bit?
Sometimes, yeah. I like do that mostly with the kids, because like some of the kids, they rather just like lay down and like be silly or talk to each other.
Yeah.
But like the adults just go at it. So like sometimes you want to see what's going on, like if you have a grip or something like that. But like no, I don't do it too.
You've done it to me.
I just want to see how you're doing.
When there's somebody that outweighs me by a lot all the time.
I just want to see how you deal with the situation. You can get the sweep.
Horrendously.
How do you deal with somebody that comes in the gym? I'm sure you've had to deal with it at some point. Hopefully they don't get weeded out, but they kind of correct themselves. Like when you got somebody that's rolling hard, like a brown belt or a purple belt that's like beating up the white belts, bad, not beating them up like in a good way, like technically, but like, and maybe not trying to hurt them, but like really putting it on like, hey bro, that guy's brand new, man. Let him get his feet wet before you start really ripping them apart. Do you have to humble those guys sometimes?
Yeah, if it's one of our guys, like one of the people that we've been training for a while, like we just talk to them. Like, hey, listen, man, like you gotta be helping these guys out. How about you let this guy start from a dominant position and you work your way out of it? Let him start on your back or side control. You know, if it's someone that's new, they're coming in from outside, checking out the gym, stopping in from an open mat. Then like I would have either Enrico, Matt, one of our mat enforcers go with them. Yeah. But I always tell these guys like, hey, don't match fire with fire. Like don't go in and beat him up and put him like a nice crossface. Like finesse your way to the back. Like let the guy go hard, and you just get out from an underhook and like strangle him, or like get like a nice triangle. Yeah, just to show him technique it's more important than.
You know where I'm going. You know where I'm going. Tell him your theory on you guys and being nice. Go ahead.
Tear them apart.
Yeah.
I never do it. I just like joking about it.
He's been on the podcast being like, no, he's like, no, you kick the shit out of everybody.
He signed the waiver.
I think there's more value in like, if there's a guy that's being disrespectful, it's what he was saying, finessing my way out of it. Like, I go with this guy and like, I let him put me in a bad position, like his best move, and then I get out of it, and then I tap him with the same move. It's like, I feel like that's more like not offensive, but it's more like
demoralizing.
Demoralizing.
Like,
you're just like trying to go hard with it.
That's also like, that's taking the high road almost. Like, do you know Brendan McCatherine from 10th Planet? He's doing a lot of commentating lately. He does the combat jiu-jitsu. He's a commentator. We've had him on. And one of the things he says is like, when I have a guy going hard like that, he's like, I want to beat him gently.
Yes.
Like I want to show him that even though you just went crazy and went hard and you're trying to kill me, I'm still going to submit you. Jiu-jitsu, the gentle art, right? I'm going to show you. So I haven't always. I've got the ego, and it kind of it creeps in once in a while. But I definitely am trying. I've combined that with Drew from A&M. Do you guys know A&M? Drew?
Drew, yeah.
Yeah, Drew Phoenix. Drew, we got into a comment disagreement, but he posted something about, like, he posted a video that said, I tell my guys to smash the lower belts. And then somewhere in there, and I didn't catch it when I commented, he was just like, technically. Smash them, technically.
Yeah.
Use your skill, just like almost like you're doing a really good flow. They're doing jiu-jitsu, they're trying to kill you, but you're just, you're pulling out every trick that you have in your bag. And I put that together with what Brendan said. So that's kind of the way I deal with somebody who's like going really hard. We have a white belt that's with us right now. His girlfriend trains with us. He started. She's a blue belt. He's white. And I've rolled with him a couple of times, and he's bigger than me. He weighs more than me. He's taller than me. And he's so spazzy. Brand new. Never done jiu-jitsu. He's so spazzy that I've just stopped rolling with him. Not for no other reason than, like, his passing of the guard is like basically falling on top of you. And it's because he's new,
Yeah.
But I'm like, I have to go to work tomorrow. I have shit to do, and I can't worry about an injury because of something like this. So I'll let the other guys get that spaz out of him, and then when he starts doing jiu-jitsu, then I'll roll with him. And then I rolled with him the other day, and he's gotten better, but it's still like his passing is almost like, the people's elbow. Like he's coming down like really hard on his side, like just dropping on top of you. So
the people's elbow.
I mean, it's real. That's how I see it. Like he's just like trying to get past your guard,
Yeah. Like that,
But
you just take his back.
He'll be good. Well, again, it's just like super fucking spazzy, like grabbing your gi, like going like this with your gi, like just really crazy. Like he's not doing jiu-jitsu yet. He's still learning, What do you think about that? Your guys, when a new guy comes in, is he rolling day one? Does he wait a week? You go right in? What do you do? What's your policy?
Yeah, good question. I'll get to that. But what you were saying earlier about the, like the intensity with the new guy, also that shows the guy, the spazzy guy, that technique is king. Yeah. The problem is when you have a really athletic guy that he can get away with that technique because of how athletic he is. Like we have a teammate of ours, older guy, very strong guy. He used to do martial arts before, lifelong martial artist, and he's just so strong that he gets away with all these things. Like he would like crush your head from inside of the guard, and you would have to let go because like the pressure is so great. Yeah. So yeah, they take a little bit longer. I
had a guy visit our gym. He's a Marine. He's got to be like 265, and I told him, I'm like, he's a blue belt, and I told him, I'm like, hey, just be careful. Like, came to an open mat on the weekend. I'm like, hey, just be careful. You're a pretty big guy. These are like, there's some young kids in here. And I kind of pointed out, like that guy looks like he's a grown man, but that guy's 17. Like, like just be careful. I'm rolling with him, and he got stuck in my guard, and I'm holding him, wanted to see what he had, and he put his head right here. He pushed so hard, like something popped, and I had like an injury for a while.
Like a floating rib type thing.
Yeah, man. And I'm like, I just finished telling this guy, like, and his comment to me when I said that was, he's just like, no, I know. He's like, I'm a visitor here, man. Like, of course I'm going to be nice. And then he did that out of frustration and just like pushed it down. I was like, oh fuck, and it hurt for months. Yeah. I've had like the injuries in the back, but I haven't had like something like that right there.
I'm feeling the age, man, and I honestly I just let go sometimes. Sometimes I'll literally like just starfish on the mat. Like if they're doing some spazzy dumb, like I'm gonna rub my chin on. Yep. I've embodied the spirit of Craig Jones and
just let them come in and
just like whatever. If they really want it that bad, it's like exactly what Coach said. Do it with finesse. So it's like they really want to pass your guard. I was like, I know their side control is dog shit. So just lay down, let them pass your guard.
Yeah, and a lot of times I'll just turtle, like we're starting a round, or maybe I submitted them and we're restarting. I'll just go to like turtle and be like, okay, or I'll ask them what do you want to work on. If they're super spazzy, like let me just give them the position instead of getting hurt, and just they're trying to pass my guard and one of us is going to get hurt. So give them something and then let them work.
Yeah, I think that like that's happened to me before when somebody's spazzy, even though like you said, like you told the guy to go slow and then he didn't go slow. I think that like obviously it's their fault, but what's up to me in that situation is to control how I react to it, right? Like if he gets frustrated and I get frustrated back, then like I'm not gonna get anything good out of it either, But if I tell the dude what he shouldn't do and he still does it, even though he's at fault, I still get to like control like my behavior or my attitude towards what happened. And I feel like if he does something that he shouldn't have done, and I finesse my way out of it, like he does it and I don't get competitive, I don't get frustrated, I'm like, okay, like this dude's like, he's an asshole, whatever it is, but I'm still gonna like, because if I just go as hard as I can, I'm not gonna get anything good out of the road either. Like, I'm not doing myself a favor either, you know. So I try to like finesse my way into like, I go hard, and when I say go hard, I mean I try to tap him as many times as possible, but with just technique, you know. And like how demoralizing is that? Like this dude got frustrated, he went hard, like he did something he shouldn't have done, and maybe he's aware of it, maybe he's not. And either way, it's still like, and I still got tapped like 5 times. Like,
do you you're still young? Do you ever have a conversation as a young guy, but who's been training for a really long time? Will you talk to that guy and be like, hey, you know, maybe bring it down a little bit, you know, be a little bit more gentle, or let me show you something like that. That's usually how I get somebody into, instead of saying like, hey bro, you're going too fucking hard, you're gonna hurt somebody, I'm like, hey, let me show you something. And then I get into a little bit of a coaching mode, and they usually wind up calming down and then understand, okay, I need to do the move, not worry so much about this pass or being so aggressive. And like, tapping's part of the game, right? We're all gonna tap. It's not like nobody's looking at you going, you know, there's the guy that does the check or this, those are few and far between. Do you have conversations with people? Do you feel comfortable in saying something to somebody?
Yes, if they exaggerated too much. Like, let's say like I told them to not do one thing, or maybe they just do something on accident because they're spazzy, like they don't know any better, you know. But I feel like if they like keep doing this thing, even though like it's been signaled that they shouldn't, then I'll tell them like, hey bro, like like be careful. Like,
do you empower your guys to do that? Are you okay with that? You know, I know some coaches are like, hey, I'm the coach, leave that to me. Or are you okay with the blue belt, the brown belt, the purple belt, like having, hey, bro, let me kind of coach you? I know like my coach would be like, hey, save it for Facebook, come on, roll. You know, like he doesn't love the coaching, especially if it's like lower belt and lower belt. But what do you are your guys empowered to talk, and do you feel comfortable with it?
I listen to what they're saying, like if they're giving good advice, because for example, we may have a white belt that has a really good triangle, and he's giving the guy advice on how to finish his triangle, and I listen, like I see from afar, and I see if it's good advice, then yeah, by all means. Sometimes I've seen it happen, and the advice is wrong, so I just come up to them and I'm like, hey, actually, you want to do it like this. You know, because like in the future, you know, like they have to be able to coach each other and like help each other out. You know, so like, yeah, if you put a stop to that, then it's not encouraged.
Be careful with Miguel, because Miguel's going to have all the white belts smashing each other on day one.
No.
That's what I was going to say.
My heart, honestly, like if I have to be self-critical, like I talk too much shit and I'm really nice. So it's like sometimes I'll be like, no, I think that's the way you should do that. Maybe like I don't think, and then like Adrian will walk on me. He's like, no, you don't want to trap the arm. It's actually more advantageous if it's not trapped or something like that. You know, like, and it's good, but it's also a learning point for me. A, it's humbling in terms of like, yeah, I don't know everything, and then B, it's good because he's like, not only did I get the how, but I got the why. And then I guess the question that I wanted to ask to Adrian was, with like, I believe that everybody has to go through the spazzy phase. Like it's
you do. I
it's
think
just
you do.
like a phase you have to go through. But I also think it's beneficial. Like you get spazzy guy, you give him to somebody like Enrico, or you give him somebody to like a brown belt, purple belt, something like that. Because I think that's almost as, do you agree it's like the most realistic as it gets?
Yeah, also two spazzy guys is a recipe for disaster. They will hurt each other. Like for instance, like if the new guy is rolling with Miguel and he's doing something stupid, like he's like trying to fall back and he's gonna hurt his knees, Miguel could move him a little bit. Or like, I don't know, like if the guy's like sitting back on his knee and his knee's about to get twisted, Miguel could recognize that and put a stop to it before it happens. Whereas two new guys, like they don't give a crap. Like their job is to win the match, and they'll do anything in their power, anything required to get the victory.
I was talking about more like like super spazzy guy, strong. You put him with a guy who's seasoned, you know, and knows how to protect themselves. Isn't that also just like a really good test of testing their? This is you testing against an untrained person that's just wild, right?
Oh yeah,
because we play by the rules. You know, like if I'm rolling with Enrico, like. There's a ton of opportunities for him to do something dickish, and equally for me. But we don't. We kind of stay in the lane. You know what I mean?
Gotcha. I understand your question. Yeah, a while back, Ruben Alvarez told me. Ruben Alvarez, you guys know him, very good competitor.
Cop, right? The cop.
Exactly. He told me a while back. If you want to train for self-defense, train with a white belt, because their reactions are very spontaneous. Like you know, like if you take someone down,
natural, if you want to say it, those are natural reactions.
Yeah. Like people will turn around and expose their back, or like like for instance, you take someone down, you're expecting like a break fall, like they'll probably like fall and roll or.
Sure.
Yeah. And I was gonna say, going back to that, is that like I feel like Adrian does give the space for me to like, or other color belts as well, to help out the other person. And I think that, like, for example, let's say a certain situation happened. Maybe this guy did something that wasn't nice. Like maybe he was ignorant, whatever it is. I like, and he's not like there. He doesn't see it. I try my best to like do the right thing in this situation. Because like in like everyone goes through their spazzy phase, like you said. And like, is it really fair for me to treat this guy wrong? Because I've gone through the same thing. You know, it's not really fair to. So, and then like if something does happen, and I have to deal with it, I do it. But then I go to him and I'm like, Coach, like, was it the right thing to do? What do you think? You know what I mean?
Sure.
So I feel like I feel pretty confident in trying to handle that situation, but it's because every time it happens, I'm like, I go to him like, hey, Coach, this happened. What do you think? He's like, that was good, but maybe say this instead, or like maybe do this, or let me do this. So I think that it's okay. I think he gives us the space to do that. And I think it's really good, but at the same time, it's like, I think there's also value in like, if you deal with the situation, go and get like constructive criticism. You're like, okay, this is what happened and this is what I did. What do you think? Do you think this was the right thing to do? Or
Sure.
And then he would tell me, you know.
Have you ever had to throw somebody out of the gym? Have you ever been like, listen, this isn't the right place for you?
Oh, dude, good question.
A name pop in your head?
Yeah. I got real close. Thankfully, they moved to another city, but it wasn't an adult. It was actually a child.
Oh, really?
And what he was doing, he did a couple of things. One, he tried to flood the bathroom.
Oh, this guy's crazy. This kid was crazy. I know who it is.
Like clog up the toilet?
In the sink, put a bunch of paper towel, and then left the water running. And then we have a poster board in the guys' locker room with ticks. You know, what are those called? The pointy things? The tags. Sorry, my bad. Yeah. English is weird. So he would grab one of those and put them upside down in the floor. So when kids come in,
really?
Like they was like, yeah. So that was the time where I was like, all right, yeah, you're a danger.
Did you ever have to talk to his parents? Like
yes.
You mentioned to parents? Yeah.
Yes, plenty of times, and it would work for a couple of days, but then the kid would go back to that behavior.
Did they not? They didn't speak English though, did they?
Yeah, kind of broken English. I could communicate with them, but yeah, I was literally about to tell a mom like, hey, listen, sorry, but he can't train here any longer, and they moved to another country. So it saved me that conversation.
They knew, bro. They knew. That's why they moved.
They moved just because of you. Yeah.
Not because of that. It wasn't just your sink, I bet.
I heard.
Yeah, that's true.
There was I saw a video the other day of like craziest things that have happened. We used to ask that as a question, but Tubby Aliquin was answering the question.
Tubby?
Yeah, she said
she's supposed to hear.
Somebody, I'm going to her. They've got a seminar on December 2nd. That we're going to.
I RSVP'd. I'm excited.
They like craziest thing that's ever happened on the mat, and they went around. It was a sponsor thing, and I think it was like these girls that they sponsored. It was a group of them, and they went around to each girl and
the gypsies.
Yeah, and then she winds up saying everybody had like a really weird story, and she had a kid that shit on the mat. But like it's on her
gi or no gi.
It was in a gi, and it was in a gi, and it fell out the bottom of the gi. She said,
yes.
"Oh my God!" A little kid. I had one.
So the kid wasn't wearing underwear.
Well, I mean, you could still, maybe you put it on and it comes out.
That specific. I don't want to know.
I had a little kid.
I hope it was solid.
I had like a 4 or 5 year old kid in my first school. I used to help coach, and my coach wasn't there. And he was just like, hey, Coach, I got to go to the bathroom. So he goes to the bathroom, and he's in there forever. And I'm like, what's going on? And I felt so bad. When I went in to check, he had the door open. Like he was a little kid, so he didn't close the door all the way. So I go look in, and he's just standing there looking at the wall. He couldn't get his gi pants open fast enough, and he peed on himself. But like, I'm not, I have a daughter, and now, I have a stepdaughter now. But what am I going to do? I'm like, I'm alone with other kids. There are no parents here. There's no coaches. And I'm like, I'm not like a kid myself. I'm in my 40s. But this kid's peed. I'm like, but I got to take this kid's clothes off. This is like really strange. Somebody walks in, and I've got a little boy naked in the bathroom. Like, what the fuck do I do? Yeah. So my coach actually wound up showing up, and he had a little boy, and like he took care of him. But that was like my craziest. I felt so bad for the kid. He came back. He came back like a champ. He didn't wear it like I don't want to go back.
That's not the craziest. What's the craziest thing you've seen on the mats? I mean, you've been on whatever Taekwondo and whatever the whole thing.
The craziest thing. I told you the weirdest thing I think in terms of teaching. One time I went to trained at Academy, North Carolina, and the coach would show the move one time, and then we would all separate, practice the move. Well, I'm sorry, he didn't teach it one time, he taught it multiple times, but we would practice it one time and then go back to see the next move. And he would show it.
So you only drill it once?
Once, yeah.
One rep.
So I do it to you, you do it back to me, and then we go see the next move.
What was the reasoning behind it? There was no good reasoning behind it?
I didn't ask. I mean, I was a guess. So he did this with 6, 7 moves. And in my head, I'm like, bro, no one remembers the first one.
Yeah.
Like, so I think that's the...
I don't remember when the coach does it 10 times and then I go do drill it.
Doing two.
I'm like thinking about work or my, your mind wanders. I'm that guy. I'm just like,
I have a running theory.
Dude, hey, what's the move? Can you go first?
Dude, I have a running theory that I think there's a huge population in the jiu-jitsu community that this sound makes them forget. I am, because I'm rolling. Dude, I was
Wait,
like,
what were you saying? No.
Yeah, exactly. That's good. Dude, I can't tell you how many times I've had a training partner. I'm like watching. I'm like making sure, because I want to do this shit right.
Yeah.
I want to learn something new. I want a new tool that'll help me go like in my truck alone.
Yeah.
And I've had so many partners that are like, even higher belts are like, you do it first.
Yeah.
I'm just like, dude, it's a head and arm. Like,
you
what?
Should
know how to,
sometimes
like
I'm just totally not paying attention.
Yeah.
Like my mind is going, I'm tying my belt and then my mind is wandering. And it could be the most basic thing. It's not like I don't know the move. Like, hey, what did he just show? What are we doing? Oh, okay, yeah. Now I know. And then I can go do it.
Actually.
But I just fade out.
You see it. You have to see it in people's eyes. Like, because you're the teacher, so like you're like looking around.
Yeah, I was gonna say, sometimes I look at the time and see what time my explanation begins and what time I'm done. And if I see that I'm past like 3-4 minutes, it's like, okay,
you
gotta
lost
wrap
everybody.
It up
And
get
you
them
lose
to work.
me. Yeah. That definitely happens.
I try to teach it 3 times. So like one time how it looks in real life, and then probably like break it down 2 times, and then like, hey, any question? And then probably like, hey, can I say one more time? Like, yeah, one more time for that person, and then get going. No more than 5 minutes.
Just a suggestion: you record what you're gonna teach on TikTok. You fire up that projector. You show it, but it's TikTok. So their attention spans are. You know what I mean?
That's like when in high school the teacher gave you a package for the class, and the whole class said, "Hey, work on this package," and like he wouldn't teach or anything. I don't know if that happened to you.
Oh, just do it.
Yeah. You get a package, and instead of a lesson, you just like go over the material. I can imagine one day.
Sometimes homework be like, "What the hell is this homework? We didn't learn this yet." What
Dude,
the fuck?
My sister's a teacher. And she has been forever. She's been an educator forever. I didn't know until like a couple of years ago that when it's like Tuesday and your teacher rolls in with like the TV on the cart or whatever and puts on a movie, it's because they're hungover.
Oh, absolutely.
I didn't know that.
Let me tell you, all of my friends from New York, I should say all my friends. I have about 5 or 6 friends in New York that all became teachers. Most of them, most of them became teachers for the summers off because they just,
Yeah.
And bro, those guys, when they were single, all dated in the freaking the new like when you were in college and you go do an interns or you, like my daughter was a teacher. She had her last semester was you go student teach, right? So those guys, they're the worst.
Hard on the paint,
bro. Like.
And they're showing you movies,
drugs,
dude.
rolling, smoking weed. Like there was no drug testing. I'm like, these are the guys that are teaching our little kids.
Heroes.
Crazy. And then when my daughter became a teacher, heroes. When my daughter became a teacher, I said, listen, do not date any of the teachers. These guys are just preying on you, teacher. And she wound up dating a teacher. And I'm like, dude, what are you doing? But those guys, it was the best job ever. Yeah. They weren't making a ton. But it was summers off.
Fun. It's fun.
New girls every single year, coming into to TA and do their internships. They were the worst though. They were the worst.
I'm talking about like my 55-year-old geometry teacher. I didn't know she got lit. She was like Margarita Monday.
Oh yeah.
Tuesday I'm watching Roots. I was like, oh.
Yeah, man. They're human beings. They're just normal.
I know. Yeah.
And then
forget that.
You do got to think though the stress of. Like in New York, average class was 30 kids. And like down here, it's probably more.
Yeah.
My daughter, she doesn't teach anymore. She works for me now, but like 35 kids. Half of them don't speak English. At all.
In jiu-jitsu too, it's weird because it's like you have people who do jiu-jitsu as a hobby, as stress relief. They don't want to look like a bitch to their kids, so they train. You know what I mean? You got those people, and then there's like the there's the guys in the locker room. They're like, oh, did you watch Joseph Chen? Freaking, who's a monster, by the way. I don't know if you've heard of him.
Yeah. B team.
Yeah. He's just like double arm.
I just started watching the quintet, the last quintet.
Okay, yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, I just started watching that. I have got like playing when I'm just like eating lunch.
But like, it's easy to forget that some people don't know shit about jiu-jitsu outside of jiu-jitsu, like at all. So it's like the drama, the politics, the competition stuff, the beefs between gyms, like the hierarchy, the arguments, the popular arguments, like who's the best.
No politics here. No politics. I think every gym has politics. Every gym has somebody that they maybe don't like or they wouldn't bring in, or a gym that they had a problem with. He's not in his head, so I'm gonna like every school I've ever been with, anybody that we've ever had come on, they say politics. No politics. What are you telling her?
No, I just whispered to my fiance who's sitting here watching the name of the academy that we don't like.
Oh, okay. We got you on tape. We got you. We'll read his lips.
Turn one of the cameras around. Yeah.
But I mean, it happened. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying it's like, it's so interesting because it's easy to, like we were talking about forgetting the move. I also like forget that these people are humans. I just only see them in the gi, bro. Like, I don't know that they're an engineer or a doctor or whatever. You know what I mean? I just think he's like, oh, this guy's got a sick triangle. All right, this guy's
like, you know them, like,
I just
you have no clue that he's like a business owner or has 5 kids or whatever.
We don't even talk personal stuff. And honestly, when I go in the locker room, I'm just like, how dirty of a joke can I get away with without getting kicked out of here? Like, that's usually my
where your
goal.
mind is.
Yeah.
Hey, what do you guys think about? I feel like nowadays when you look at jiu-jitsu, like when people look for an academy, there's like 2 categories. There's like self-defense jiu-jitsu and like sport jiu-jitsu. What do you think about that? Like, is there such thing as like 2 different, almost like a manifestations of the same martial art? Or
you want to?
I think a huge fan that you have that you've told me verbally, Nick Salas. You know, they game jiu-jitsu. Their jiu-jitsu, we've interviewed them a couple times. Yeah. They've verbally have said that they've had students come in, like a female student or a male student. It's like, I'm looking for self-defense, and they're like, this isn't the place. We're here. It's like
competition jiu-jitsu.
This is. And not even that. This is like, we're gaming the system. We're like, these are the rules, and this is how we can circumvent and use these rules as an advantage in order to win. You're not even going to get a sub sometimes. You'll win by advantage or something like that. But you're going to game the opponent, game the system. And I think that's beautiful if you're up front with it.
Yeah, I think so. I'll expand on that. I know that there are some gyms that, I own a marketing company, so I understand this. When mom is searching on the internet for a place to bring little Bobby after school, and she puts in karate, she doesn't know what she's looking for. She doesn't understand the difference between jiu-jitsu. So there are gyms that would say, like the woman goes, hey, do you guys do karate there? And the coach will say yes. Yeah, sure. What do who do you want to bring in? Bring him in. I absolutely get that. Bring little Bobby in, and I've just seen it from the inside where they come in, and half of our adults have kids in the school. We have a pretty big kids program, and half of those kids, their parents, one of the parents trains, male or female. We've got a husband-wife team, so we've got a lot of
and it's
women.
Competitive children.
So there are days that we have more women on the mat than guys.
That's great.
Yeah, so there are that many women. We even train separately for a little while. We're back to training together, but we just like split the mat. The girls train; they only roll with each other. Maybe some like the smaller guys will roll. But I do think that there's something to be said for being a little bit more honest about it. So that mom doesn't know any better. She doesn't know what she's looking for, so I'm okay with that. But I do think like an adult, somebody who's like, maybe been assaulted, maybe even raped, and then they come in and it's just like, okay, we're pulling guard, and it's not that Gracie style self jiu-jitsu, right? Yeah. It's not that Gracie self-defense jiu-jitsu where they're stand up and they're showing you how to get out of, your standing chair. Like, I've never even done any of that. I've never done any of that at all.
We put on gloves.
So it's all, I've always just gone from, stand up. I shouldn't say, my first school, we did a seminar because we had a bunch of girls, like daughters of students, adult students who were going away to college, and we did a college class. And I even had my wife at the time come. And, it was like, hold him up against the wall with the choke. And like he showed stuff. That was the one time. Other than that, it was just like pure competition style jiu-jitsu. So I do believe there's something to be said for being honest with the students about that. But again, when it's a mom looking for jiu-jitsu for the kid, they don't know.
But what's more
so you're not
important-
being deceptive. But for an adult, I just think it's like good to be upfront about it. You know, if it's an adult saying like, I'm in this situation and I want to learn because I went through this thing, I still think there's a benefit to the jiu-jitsu, but you might not be showing them the jiu-jitsu that they think that they're going to learn. Like, again, literally being, you know, against the wall with a choke, or somebody coming up behind you and just grabbing you. You know, not every school teaches that.
Yeah.
You know,
You're saying I'm sorry, Enrico. So you're saying your school does not go that much into this self-defense?
no, we're more of like he's developed his kids program into what's now becoming the adults program, right? It's like these kids have aged into, 16, 17 years old, who've been like Enrico, been training forever. And so we've become more of a competition school.
Gotcha. So,
but didn't always start like that, but it was just like he was developing his program, and he knew, I'm going to invest in the kids because the kids are going to be the future. They're the ones that are going to stay the longest because there's somebody over their shoulder going, you have to go to jiu-jitsu today, versus the adults that maybe come and go a little bit more. And he developed that, and now we have a team, and they're traveling this weekend. So, and now it's more of sport jiu-jitsu. Now, as an adult, I've trained. My first school, we did stand-up, we did Muay Thai, but we didn't do that, like those basic jiu-jitsu styles. I could throw hands and do like takedowns, like more of an MMA style, but not that traditional Gracie jiu-jitsu, those like 101 jiu-jitsu things that you see in the Gracie videos, or what's the team down in the Valente brothers? Like, I know I've never trained in a school that was like that.
But let me ask you, if you were to get into a confrontation in the street and someone were to put hands on you, you think you'll be able to get out, not having specifically trained those situations? Because I think you have no problem.
I know enough. I've trained stand up. I'm comfortable, and I've seen those things a million times. Have I drilled them a million times? No.
That's what I think. I think that the skills that, like, even maybe not if you go to the extreme of your academy only does like guard pulls and you're like all constantly like inverting, because even when you learn guard, you're still learning takedowns. Yeah. Like at some point you have to wrestle up. At some point you're gonna learn a single and double. So I always think back in the 90s, when you wanted to learn how to fight, you would probably go to like a boxing gym. Which probably one of the best ways.
Or karate is also, true. Like karate was a big thing, right? Before jiu-jitsu was the thing.
And you wouldn't go in and say, hey, do you guys do boxing for self-defense or boxing for or for competition? It's like you learn how to box. And if you get into a fight, then use your boxing. And you would have to modify that slightly. Like you can't really punch someone with your bare hand. If you head to school, you're gonna like really hurt your hand. So you have to modify it a little bit. Like a lot of people say, hit it with the heel of your hand. Sure. Or, like make a strong fist and, I guess hope for the best. Yeah. So what I think is that even if you join an academy where it's purely competition jiu-jitsu, which by the way, like this is not us. Like literally 2 weeks ago, we're punching each other from the mount. To learn the escapes. But I think that even if you do only competition, you also develop those skills that will translate in the real world. Like one of the kids from your gym, I'm sure if they were ever to get into a fight in school, they're not gonna have a problem defending themselves.
Agree.
It's actually 100%. Happened while I was there. There's been a couple of instances where the kids have gotten into a scuffle, and not only did they, take care of the situation, but they didn't hurt the other kid. Like they literally put them just got their back, seatbelt, trapped an arm. I
have a student. He's a very good friend of mine now. He was one of the first guys on the podcast. Like in the beginning, it was like me and 4 or 5, or a total of about 5 training partners. That's how the podcast got started. His name's Mauricio. His son trains. He trains. He's a purple belt. He's about to get his brown. And he got a call from the school. And it's like, hey, your son's been in a fight. And he goes, the first question that Mauricio asked him was like, is the other kid okay? And he wasn't being cocky about it. He just knew his son trained. He's like, oh shit, my son got in a fight. He probably fucked somebody up with some jiu-jitsu, No, everybody's okay. Fast forward, that kid was basically wound up, that kid was bullying him. That kid wound up, it was a few months later, that kid started training at our gym, and they're like best friends now. Not like, oh, they're cool with each other on the mat. No, they hang out. They're best friends now, and jiu-jitsu, did that.
Yeah, I think even as a competitor, you can still get benefit out of training with hobbyists, because like at Renzo, like we compete, but we're not like a competition team, right? Yeah. Correct. And I cross train at Renzo Gracie. That's like where I mostly train. That's my home. But I also train at VRMA at Wagner's.
Sure.
And like at Renzo, most of the people that train there are hobbyists, but I find that, and most of the people at Wagner's are competitors. But I think it's even more beneficial because when I go to Wagner's, I know that like I can't just like try to practice something I just learned 10 minutes ago, you know. But it's also I get to test out my A game and I get to test out my competition. Like I can keep track of points, whatever it is. And then when I go to Renzo, it's like I get to test out new things and like learn new things, and like where I learn my new concepts and my new skills is at Renzo. And then over time, I start going up the ladder at Renzo, like with the higher belts. And then I go to Wagner's and I also get to test that out. Like if that works there, then I know it works anywhere.
Are you just, when you go to Wagner's, are you just going to like open mats? Or
No.
did you go to his?
I go to his classes.
Are they training? They're teaching like a move of the day kind of situation as well. All
Yeah,
right,
like
so
a normal class. Like
Okay.
I do
Which
both
is a
half
tough,
and half.
it's a tough
And yeah,
class.
you were there as well for a little
It's
bit,
a
right?
tough class.
Yeah.
Even just a regular, like the 7 p.m.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're facing the inside skipping for like 15 minutes.
Dude, like
Yeah.
And
yesterday,
then you're like walking the wall, like on your hands.
Oh, his
like,
open mat. His open mat is amazing.
it's so
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Gordon was there.
Yeah, that's how
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
how we started going there.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because so he started
My
going.
coach goes there with his son.
Yeah?
They train there once in a while.
Nice.
Felipe and Kai.
Yeah, so he started going to Wagner's at open mat every Saturday. He would just like go casually, and he was like, "Hey, like come with me."
Who was that? I'm sorry. Oh,
Adrian.
Okay, Adrian.
Yeah. He was started going there, and this guy, this guy, I forget. And I started going with him. He was like, "Come with me," and then that's how I started going. And I was like, "Whoa, like this is like a competition, right?"
Yeah.
And then eventually we started going more and more, and then now I train there half and half, and like yesterday I was training, and then Gilbert Burns was drilling with me, and I was like starstruck, you know.
Don't look like an
No,
idiot.
guys.
in
Don't
front
look
of
like an
Gilbert
idiot.
Burns.
Don't look like you're, intimidated or whatever it is. Like,
Yeah.
just, everything's
super
fine.
nice.
He's super nice.
Super
like, yeah, don't
nice.
get me wrong. He's
Yeah.
a nice guy, but it's like, and like one of the first times.
So let me stop you for a second. So when you're rolling with somebody like that, are you in your mind? Do you change the way you roll or how you approach it? Like, do I take this guy down? Do I attempt to take down? Do I pull guard? Do I not go too hard because then I know that he can elevate and beat the shit? Like, what is your mindset?
I think it depends on the context. I would say I never try to like change how, cause like if I try to change how, like let's say I've been training, like I've been working on my guard pass for 3 months, right? I got a competition. Oh, I'm gonna pull guard. Why would I do that? Like I bring my A game. Like obviously, like if I'm going against a lower belt, that's when I test out my new stuff, right? But like if I'm going against like a Gilbert type character, I'm not gonna try something new. Not to say I'm closed-minded about it, but like I'm gonna do my best. You know what I mean? And like it's fun because when you start going against these people that are high level consistently, you get to also see where you're at. Like I tapped this guy who's really good. And then I think it gives you a lot of confidence as well. Like with the John Combs match, beforehand I wasn't like, I was obviously scared, like I was intimidated because I didn't want to get injured. And I think the right word is nervous, right? I don't think I'm ever gonna stop being nervous when I compete. I think I just learn to handle it better. I don't think I'm ever not gonna be nervous, but I think I get to handle that better.
You're learning that it's part of the process.
Exactly. And like, I didn't go into the John Combs match thinking I was gonna lose. I was excited. I was like, oh, I get to fight this guy,
Yeah.
And like obviously, like I'm a little nervous, but like
I hope I'm not the highlight reel, right? In the back of your mind, like
yeah,
I hope,
and there was like
man, I hope I'm not gonna be on YouTube.
Yeah, there were cameras and everything because it was like, oh, who knows? This is funny and nobody. So like, let's just get the cameras and record a highlight reel.
It's gonna be good. Yeah.
What is he got? The Combs-a-tine or
And
something?
he
What is it?
became the highlight reel.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So I think that like I didn't go into it like thinking I was gonna lose. I think that being anxious and being excited are very closely related. Like even the emotion is very closely related. And I was more excited than anxious because I was like, oh, like I get to compete. It's not like, oh, I have to fight this guy or I have to win. I have to compete. Like I get to do it. Because not a lot of people do it.
Yeah.
And I was out for so long, and that's like all I wanted to do. That like I think I get to appreciate it more. It's like, oh, I don't have to wake up tomorrow at 6 a.m. and go train. I get to go train. You know what I mean?
How about you? Have you ever been in the Have you ever felt intimidated going up against a big name like oh shit, this is a UFC fighter?
Dude.
Or go in there and it's Wagner and or maybe one of his kids, and you know what's your feeling when you go into those matches?
Can I say bad words in this podcast?
Absolutely, I've cursed like
dude,
50
I
times.
rolled, fuck yeah, dude, I rolled with Nicky Rod and he fucked me up. Dude.
Yeah,
he sent me flying like a ragdoll. He body locked me like 6 times, but that was great because by feeling it, I get to replicate a little bit of it.
Sure.
So after that, my body lock game went off the roof.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. How much did you learn from it?
Oh, it was great. And then I went to Austin.
What I'm interested in, I'm gonna let you.
Sorry.
What I'm interested in is right when you're standing across from him, in your mind, it's just like, are you? Because I've had this internal dialogue. Okay, I don't want to piss him. I don't want to go too hard because I don't want to piss him off. Or like let him move first. Like, are you going through those things in your mind?
What I think
are
about,
you saying those things to yourself?
You ever heard that clip of the guy that has a graph and he goes like, "Fuck around, find out."
Yeah,
Like, that's how it is. So like, if you go real slow with them,
Yeah.
they will probably like match your intensity.
Okay.
But, like if you go ham, they will probably match
They're
as
gonna be
well.
like, okay, I gotta handle this guy.
Listen, with everyone, like I think like people ask me like, "Hey, I want to go roll with a black belt, but like I don't want to like go very hard with them." Like, no, dude, like you can go hard, but be ready for what's gonna
and
happen.
respectful. Don't do something.
I think that like if your technique is good enough, you shouldn't be worried about like doing something stupid. You know what I mean? Like I don't think you're gonna.
You're
like,
not gonna do naturally.
Yeah.
Not gonna do something
like
stupid.
if your technique is good enough, I don't think you should worry about being like disrespectful or like what's the word again? The white belts.
Spazzy?
Spazzy. Yeah. I don't think you should worry about
He's
that.
so
if
far
you're
away
good
from
enough.
that. He's like, I don't even know the word. I'm so smooth.
So I interrupted you. You said you went to Austin when you went to Austin.
Yeah. So like the day that when I first rolled with Nicky Rod, my back was hurting a little bit. So in my mind, I was like, if my back was good, I could probably do better. I went to Austin and he fucked me up even worse, dude.
Yeah.
Yes, because you came back for a second.
You go to the Renzo's, right?
He's like, I'm gonna make him earn that flight.
Yeah.
You're gonna come for seconds, dude. I mean, I've had the similar experience, with you, because you know what it's like to roll with your coach, right? Yeah, so you roll with your coach, and it's almost this weird thing of like they want to see what you got.
How hard do I go? That's what I'm trying to get at. Is like,
and it's like, is that a trap? Is that an open door? Is that a test? Is that what am I doing? So whatever, and then you could either get in your own head about it, or you could just jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
But then sometimes you do get caught up in the moment, and you go hard, and
I think about it, but the second the match starts and that goes away.
I'm saying live.
I think you can feel like I know when I'm rolling with somebody that's a lower belt than me, my methodology is like, you have control of the accelerator.
Yeah.
I'm going to let you press the gas. I'm going to match your intensity if you're a lower belt. If you're a lower belt and less experienced and I know that I can easily tap you, I'm going to let you have control of the accelerator. So, sometimes that's there's a purple belt and he's better than me, younger, faster, and then I'm like, I'm the higher belt, but I am controlling the acceleration. I've got it. He's going to match my intensity, right?
Yeah. If I'm going with my coach and like one thing is, going as hard as you can and try to like hurt him. And one thing is like going hard and, try to beat him. I think that if my coach is to get offended by me trying my best, I shouldn't be under him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Adrian would never get offended if I went hard with him, but I'm not being stupid. I'm trying to beat him, but I'm not doing it in a arrogant fashion, like I'm trying to beat him, that's the whole point, because he's better than me, but I'm trying to get there. So
it's weird. Like you're just like, it's almost like, not to put it like in this context, but it's almost like a father figure that you're just trying to make like, look, dude, I'm retaining the information you're giving me.
Yeah.
It's not going to be, you taught it to me, so obviously you know more than I do, but like, I'm just going to, you let me go as far as you want to let me go, but I'm going to do it the way you showed me.
The first time I tapped my coach, it was with we worked on Peruvians a lot, so he's like turtled up, and I did a Peruvian. I didn't celebrate. We just kept on rolling. He went on Facebook that night and wrote this whole thing about how proud he was that one of his white belts tapped him out. He like felt good about what he was teaching me, and I like that. That doesn't always happen, but it doesn't always happen. There's too much. There is definitely too much. There's too much, testosterone in it. What's that about? What?
When I first saw my coach, I made a group chat about it. I was so excited. And he was in the group chat.
I've never. I'm like what happens on the mat stays on the mat. Like even I've got a training partner now that he'll like tell me after class all like who he tapped, and I'm just like.
it feels less and less important the
don't
more and
do
more
it.
I
Yeah,
do
I'm
it.
just like, but I try to tell him like, no, don't tap
It's like
and tell,
kissing
you know?
kissing and telling.
Yeah.
Don't tap and tell.
You know what I thought about the other day? It's an old Batman quote, but I'm gonna like turn it around. It's like you either live long enough to become Gordon Ryan, or it's like you either become Gordon Ryan or you live long enough to see yourself become Greg Jones.
Okay.
But like the Batman quote, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know it. I just watched it the other day.
Because I don't know, man. It really.
I know the quote is like either you die a villain or you live long enough to. No, I'm sorry. Either you die the hero or you live long enough to become the villain.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't know why I was blanking out on that.
That's the exact quote, but I thought about it in terms of like a Gordon Ryan versus, because they're playing a game, bro. Like I still think these guys are friends.
I don't agree.
It's a game. In my speculation,
He's like troll of the year. If there's a troll of the year,
they're both
Jones
trolls. They're both trolls.
But Jones is way better at trolling people.
But they're just extracting value from two different. Because there's archetypes.
You need a water?
There's
They're warm,
archetypes
but
in
there's one
jiu-jitsu.
I like the stuff.
You know what I'm saying? There's archetypes in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
There's like the I only buy my kids red, white, and blue crayons because these colors don't run. Like, and there's the dudes who come in and they're just trying to octopus guard you. There's the dude who wants to come in and just be Keenan. There's the dude who wants to come in and just like highlight reel you. Like there's just these people that you really could sector them in these different sectors.
Sure.
And the smart thing to do is if you gain the popularity, and obviously it's backed up by skill. Nobody on earth is ever going to say Gordon Ryan sucks because he doesn't suck.
No.
Neither do any of the people at the B team. Neither do any people at New Wave. Neither do top ATOS guys, the Rotullo brothers, AOJ, like these, they all have a foothold on the market. Like if you follow, like let's say Tanya Dalpra, what you're getting is a straight edge competitor. If that's what you align with, you'd be like fluidity. I wear a white gi. I wear long sleeve black spats and long sleeve black shirt underneath. I'm disciplined. I do this. I wake up every morning. I get in my Porsche Panamera. I pick up a 12-year-old kid. I teach 6 a.m. class.
How do you know
that.
all
Like,
of this, man?
Huh?
How do you know all
Flow
of this?
grappling. I saw that too.
Because I don't.
There's a day in the life with him.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
There's,
I'm
on YouTube.
infatuated
I think it
with
was on-
jiu-jitsu.
yeah.
Okay, like I took off work to come here and do this.
His shoe size is 12. His shirt is a medium size. You know everything about this guy.
Yeah, whatever. I pay attention. I know the moves. I just can't do them, bro. Anyways, but it's just like it's gotten to a point where they get popularity.
Yeah.
And now they're gaming the system.
Sure.
So and you need conflict for that. Left, right, red, blue. Like
I think there's more to that in that particular situation. I think there's something to it though. There's definitely things that have happened, and they don't like each other right now.
I think it's a game.
Yeah,
It's a money making game.
Let's change direction because I want to get in some of these questions because I'd love to give out some Buffy mugs and T-shirts to these guys. So I'm going to go down these questions. I'll let you guys both answer. So this is Quavo's Bizarre Adventure. Quavo's Bizarre Adventure. How do you create a solid game plan for competition? That's part one. And what is your mindset going into a competition? We'll let you go first.
I can take that.
Go ahead. Either.
I think when a student comes over and he's like, "Hey, I want to compete," you gotta have a set of skills that are the same for everyone, right? So like you gotta be good at getting out of every bad position, make sure no one passes your guard, and you gotta have a couple of takedowns.
Sure.
Okay, now you can like do the competition because like if you can get out, you get pinned, and then you're done. So you need those basic skills, break falls, and whatnot. And then from there, it's like, okay, we gotta have a plan. What are the takedowns that you like? If you can't take the guy down, what guard you're gonna get to so you can get things going. Because if you go to a tournament, I tell everyone your job is to win the match. Like you don't have to get a highlight, especially like your first few matches, like until you develop that confidence of doing jiu-jitsu in kind of like the arena. Like it's gonna be hard to go for like a really flashy move. So pick a game plan, pick a couple of guards that you like, and then you have to do tournament matches at the gym where you're actively keeping track of the points.
You were saying that before. You were talking about going to Wagner's, but you keep point. You don't have to say them out loud, but you'll keep score in your head. Okay.
Most people do there.
Yeah.
On those.
Go ahead.
And I kind of lost.
I'm sorry. I'm famous for interrupting.
No.
That's why I'm single. Do you have anything you want to add to that?
I would say that
Take the take the mindset portion of that, because you're talking about game plan. What about mindset? What is your mindset going into a match?
I would say, like, if you're nervous, like I feel like a lot of people try to pretend they're not nervous, but like, dude, you're nervous.
Everybody's nervous.
And I think you need to like validate that. Like, yeah, you're nervous. It's fine. Like the other dude is nervous too, you know?
Yeah.
And like, it's what I feel like if you're generally good, like if you kind of know what to do in every position, that's good. And I think that confidence ultimately comes from like your skill set, right? Like you're not going to be scared or hesitant to commit to a guard pass if you know that if you trust to sweep you, you're not going to get swept, you know? So I think a lot of the mindset is translated from your training. Like if you know you're good, like if you're good at passing guard, you're not going to be scared to go into a match and pass the dude's guard, you know? So I think that the mindset I try to have is very like, it's almost like simple in a way, because it's like, all right, I did everything I was supposed to do up until this point. I don't have like, there's nothing I didn't do in my training that I should have done. And if I feel that way, when I go into the competition, I find that I just don't think about it too much.
Yeah.
You know, like for example, I compete tomorrow. I'm not really worried right now. Maybe tomorrow when I wake up on the way there, I'll start getting a little nervous.
Does it usually go away as soon as you're on the mat, slap bump?
Yeah.
Now
definitely. Yeah, I think that
you've done all the preparation. I kind of feel like that usually goes away at that moment.
Yes, I would say so. I think that if you know that you did your best in preparation, you're not gonna be like having doubts or things. And if you do, that's normal, you know. But like, don't try to like get in your head too much, you know. Sure. Go into it thinking like, okay, like I did everything I was supposed to do. I have no control over what the outcome's gonna be. I don't know if I'm gonna win or lose, and I'm gonna make sure that if I do lose, it's because he was better than me. Sure. It's not gonna be because like I didn't sleep enough or didn't eat good or anything like that. So I try to make it so that everything that's under my control, I do my best in, and what's not, I try not to think about it too much. And then if I do, which is, you know, it can come naturally, like I can just start having doubts out of nowhere. I'm like, okay, like it's fine. Like I have these doubts, but like I can't control them, so I'm not gonna worry about it.
This flows right into the next question, and I'll let Adrian take this one. So this is from Instagram. Blue can do it. What has been your biggest struggle with competing, and how have you overcome it? You kind of discussed it already. You've just kind of laid out how you do it. What about you?
Yeah. So what I was gonna say also about the mindset. Like many people, I think I was very scared always of competing because of the outcome. Like, okay, like what's the worst that could happen? You know, I could get injured.
Oh my God, my training partners are going to see me lose. Right?
Exactly.
I think that's one of the biggest worries. Is like, oh my God, I'm going to shit the bed.
Exactly.
Right?
So like, if you go in with the mentality that your number one goal is not to get hurt, and your number two goal is not to get highlighted, like you're fine. Because I mean, everyone loses. Gordon Ryan lost a bunch as he was coming up. So if you put that in your head. I was like, okay, losing is okay as long as you don't get hurt and as long as you don't get highlighted, because it sucks to see you getting, you know, like flying armbar or something for like the next few months or something on your Instagram reel.
So personally, your biggest struggle? That was it?
Yeah, that was it, because it was always like, you know, like as a coach, man, like I don't want to go in and compete and I don't want my students to see me lose. Yeah. But like, you know, like I told myself like, hey, it's okay if I lose, you know.
You're teaching them something in that moment as well. How you handle it, how you handle the loss is something that they're being taught.
Correct. And also have to remember that, you know, like the people that like learn from me, they are not learning from me for my ability to win tournaments and stuff. They're coming and hang out with me because of what I could do for them, like what I can teach them. Sure. You know? Yeah. And we are in a position like literally like Miguel, you, Mia, and Rico, that right now our livelihood does not depend on competing. So we could go to a tournament, get completely wrecked, and then our life is fine. And none of our friends are gonna be like, hey, yeah, dude, you suck because you lost.
It's the opposite.
It's the opposite. Yeah. It takes a lot of guts to sign up for a tournament. And those people that have done it, no. So like it's very intense, very difficult. Okay. And in the future, of course, Enrico wants to go professional, and he has all the tools to do so. So one day, you know, the pressure is greater on him, but he can handle it.
You got to work up to it. Yeah. And then and I see this a lot, you know, in my gym and other even in the military. You're gonna have a bad day at the office sometimes. Yeah. You know, and your comrades that have been in those bad days, those similar situations, are gonna walk up to you and they're gonna go like, "How'd it go? All right, cool. Did you learn something? All right. Hey man, good job. You got in there. You know what I'm saying? You got
It's
in
almost
there.
like like your friends care whether you won or lost and if you learn something, but the majority of people don't give a fuck about how you did this competition. They're worried about.
And there's the other
they're worried
ones that
about
don't
paying
know.
their bills, their wife, this, that, their own jiu-jitsu. Like, there's not too many people that are even. Oh, you competed? You know, like
Adrian.
Right,
Adrian in front of class, you'd be like, "Hey, Johnny competed last weekend. Everybody clap!" You know, and then you could see the people that know Johnny and know competition, they clap, and then you see other guys are like, "Who's Johnny?" Okay, because it's like if you know, you know. It's that
let me move on to the next question because we're going to run short on time, but I want to get to our drill down as well. So let's. I'm going to ask you both. This is Ethan Sherman asked, "What made you fall in love with BJJ, and how do you think it shaped you as a person?"
Shout out to Ethan. That's my friend right there. How I fell in love with it, that's a good story. So when I started doing it, it was in a small gym called the SJJ, Duda Soares Jiu-Jitsu Judo. He moved from Brazil, and it was a very small gym. And at the time I was playing tennis. I was 12 years old, and my parents were going through a divorce, and it was a very tough time in my life. And my friend at school, my best friend at the time, his uncle was Duda Soares, the guy that opened the gym. He had just moved as well. And he told me like, "Hey, like come try jiu-jitsu, come see what it is." And shout out to Bruno, that's the guy that invited me. And I started going to his gym, and it was really fun because it was like all of our best friends. It was like 5 or 6 of us, and we all trained. And it was like, you know, we kind of didn't pay attention too much. It was just like we went there just to play around, but it took my mind off of it, you know, like it took my mind off of the situation going on at home. And my coach as well at the time, he knew about the situation. So if there's anything going on at home, like I could just go to the gym and talk to him, for example. And I think that translated to why I love it so much. Obviously, there's, you know, the technical aspect, which I'll get to in a second. But I think that's what made me initially love it so much, because it felt like it was something I could do, you know, to get my mind off of it.
It was an outlet.
Exactly. It was an outlet, yeah. And then I started doing it more and more. And I started training at American Top Team because I felt like at the gym I was in, it was really fun, but it was just fucking around, you know, like it was really fun, don't get me wrong, but it was like we didn't learn too much. And that was around like a year and a half after, so the situation at home had already calmed down a little bit, and I felt like I wanted to do more with jiu-jitsu. And then I kept training ATT for around a year and a half, and then I had a falling out with the coach, and that's when I came to Renzo Gracie. And at the time I was a freshman, I believe. Yeah, it was middle of sophomore year in high school, and that's when COVID hit. And by that time, it was kind of in my head, like I was starting to like jiu-jitsu more and more. And I kind of I wanted to do homeschool so I could train more. And that was in my mind. It had been in my mind for around a year. And then COVID hit, and I had already mentioned to my parents, like, hey, like I kind of want to do homeschool so I can train more. And they were like, no, like stay in school. And then when COVID hit, we had to do it online. And they were like, we were forced to. To me, it was great.
So it's your fault.
Yeah. It was great. I had a great time in COVID. You know, it was very hard for everybody, and I know that, but I'm very grateful. I was very lucky. And they were like, okay, if you do good in this format, like we'll let you do online. And then a couple months went by, I did good. And then middle of junior year, which was the beginning of 2021, was when I started doing it seriously. And yeah, I think I fell in love with it because of that. It served as an outlet for me to forget what's going on at home. And not only that, but also like it toughened me up, you know, like the nature of the sport is a martial art, right? So you learn a lot from it as well. And I think there's also like the whole technical aspect to it. I really like the intellectual side of jiu-jitsu. I like learning the techniques, and I like the technique. Like I like being technical, you know, like you said, like I like being fluid. Like when there's a technique, I like smooth, you know, because like I'm tall, but I'm not a very strong person. Like physically, I can't like bench press a lot of weight, for example. And when I was around 14, 15, I was in the adult class going with guys that are like 230 pounds. So my only way to survive was technique. I couldn't like muscle my way out of the situations, right?
Wait until you get in your 30s.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm excited
50.
for that.
Your 50s.
Yeah, that I'm not excited about. But
I want to.
Because of the strength, though, like that's
yeah,
my
you're
point.
gonna get your man strength. Yeah, for real. Yeah, it's gonna be good.
I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, but
primetime Kiko is gonna be legit. I'm waiting. I'm gonna stick around.
Yeah. So I would say like, and it's like when I started learning the technique, I started like beating those people. I was like 14, 15. I was a gray belt, and I was, doing good against purple belts. I was like, this is great. Like, I'm actually doing pretty good here. So that I really like the technical aspect of it, and I really like how it served as like an outlet for me.
Okay.
So I think that's why I like it so much.
Very cool. How about you? What made you fall in love?
I think
yeah, I'm just noticing you got a little dinger there, huh? You got a little black eye there.
Yeah, we had a traveling open mat last Sunday. I think many of the skills that you learn in jiu-jitsu translate to real life. My math teacher told me one time, I asked him, like, hey, what do we have to learn? Like, all these stupid formulas. Like, when am I going to need how to replace a square or solve a quadratic equation? And he explained to me, listen, like, you're not going to have to physically do these equations, but the skills that you learn from solving them help you find different ways to get to the same result, to the correct answer. So in jiu-jitsu, like, finding different ways to get to the same technique, to the same submission, to take someone's back, like, it starts to ingrain something in your brain where you're in the real world and you got problems, you start figuring out different solutions to the same problems. Correct. Right. So the problem solving, that's one of the parts that I like the most about it. When I first started jiu-jitsu, I just found that it was a lot of fun. Even if jiu-jitsu was the worst martial art you could do in terms of total defense,
it's so fun.
I would still do it just because it's a lot of fun. Also, there's no hitting, so like there's a very low chance of you getting hurt. So that's what made me want to do jiu-jitsu, and then I actually fell in love with it over time. Like at the beginning I was like, hey, yeah, this is fun, and then I got deeper and deeper, and I was like, yeah, this is something that I want to do for the rest of my life, and it's something that you could definitely do for the rest of your life, because like, you couldn't do taekwondo for a really long time.
That's the second, like that old quote that's like, every man has two lives, their first life, and then when they realize that they're going to die and it's their only life, and then they start their new life. I feel like in jiu-jitsu you feel the same way. You have your jiu-jitsu life, and then you're like, oh, if I want to do this for the rest of my life, I have to start taking care of myself, eating right, stretching. You have to make sure that you can make
inverting.
it. Stop inverting. Yeah, and
you start making decisions in your personal life so that you're better at jiu-jitsu.
So you could do it for the rest. And my question to Adrian would be like, now you're behind the curtain. Now you're in the grind. You have to come to work. Sometimes I'm sure it feels that way. Are you falling in love with being a coach, with like owning a gym? Like, how's that?
Sometimes, let me add, like, sometimes when the passion becomes the job, you lose the passion.
Nah, I really like it. Like, I look forward to training every day. The part that's annoying, it's the behind the curtains, is like the corporate stuff, like
business side.
Yeah, like every Friday I gotta do payroll. Like, I gotta pay this guy. Like, once I get out of here, like, I gotta sit in the computer and send stuff to
like,
my
hey,
account.
how many hours did you work, bro? Like,
like following this guy, following like also like the gym. Like, everything decides to get broken. Like,
at the same time,
periodically,
right? Yeah.
So it's like changing lights, fixing the AC, and it's my responsibility. That's the annoying part. But training every day is pretty cool.
The business of the business.
Like, I was training before I got here, and now that I have some power, I get to like figure out the schedule. For example, like I've always liked gi. Well, I've always done gi a lot more, but recently, the last few years, I started to fall in love more with no gi. And I think I personally think it's a lot more fun. It's a lot more dynamic. Yeah. I think for self-defense situations, it's also better because of all the wrestling. And whereas the gi is good, you will get more out of no gi. That's my thought. Okay. So I was able to like, hey guys, like, who wants to make this gi class no gi? And then
he did that.
Let's do it. And all right, now it's no gi.
Done. I didn't raise my hand, but now I like no gi more now. I'm not gonna lie. And also, I've been focusing more on no gi. Now when I do a gi class, it somehow feels easier. Like, in terms of like problem solving skill, because it's like, oh, I didn't have that lapel there before. I would have to like change my grip or change a post or do something like that. I feel like it makes you even more creative in the gi, because you're like, oh, I got handles.
It gives you more time to figure out your strategy.
Not even that, you can move quicker. I think with the handles, is like, it's so much easier to hit a duck under if you could yank on a collar and
but that's if you know what you're doing. If you're like on the receiving end of that, it sucks.
It does, but the no-gi, I'm the hammer, I'm the nail, like everybody else. But I'm just saying, like, the no-gi, I feel like, almost like Jean-Jacques Machado says, it's like, he has no, like, it made his style better.
Yeah.
Hey, give me a second. Christian, do we got enough time? Like another 5-10 minutes? Are we in a rush or anything? No? Okay, cool. All right, so we're going to do, let's move on to, we're going to do the last group of questions. We call it the drill down. Just a group of questions. I'll let you do I'll let you do it. Yeah. He's only here to do this. Hold on. So with just a group of questions that we like, that are like the most submitted questions probably. Mm-hmm. So we just put them into the end of the show and then we ask everybody the same question. So we call this the drill down. That's our sound effects guy. Right there. He's only here to do that one thing. You can go now, Bo. Thank you for showing up.
No way, dude. I love Bo.
Okay. So, all right. So we're going to go through these questions and you can elaborate if you want. We can do them quick. It's up to you guys. So first question, preference, gi or no gi?
There's nothing better than hugging sweaty men on the floor. So I would say no gi, definitely.
No gi, and you just really answered it by saying no gi. So takedown or pull guard? Preference?
Both. You gotta know both. Because if you're getting a fight, yeah, you gotta know takedowns, but you're not getting in a fight every day.
What's your go-to though? What's your go-to like? Are you always going back and forth, or is it just
takedown,
like, man, I always see
we're talking about jiu-jitsu in a vacuum. We're not talking about
no, definitely takedown.
Not the advice, like you personally. How are you doing?
Okay. Yeah, what's in your heart?
How about you, Enrico?
I shamefully pull guard.
All right, that's good. That's okay. Music during rolling. Yes or no?
Yes, and I rotated.
Yeah.
It was salsa last week.
Okay. Yeah, if it's not whatever he's putting, then it's good.
Dude,
if you got the dial, so you prefer music during rolling?
Yeah.
And if you had control of the dial, what would you be playing?
Like 90s rap or like something Brazilian.
Nice. Yeah, man, I like Enrico every day.
Some spiritual.
Dude, I was rolling with him last Friday, and like his song came on, and he got all fucking.
Oh, so good.
And he got all.
His song came on. He has the nerve to like a song.
No, but he got all motivated. Like this is literally the last roll.
Yeah. What's the song?
It was that Freebird song. You know when the solo comes in.
What song?
Freebird.
Oh, Leonard Skinner. Oh wow.
Yeah. So
the solo comes in.
Yeah. So. It's a long song.
Yeah.
I got my ass whooped.
Oh,
Yeah.
It was
his
song, and you were rolling.
Yeah. Well, I was flying.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was. Yeah. No, it was cool though. But it's like, yeah, I think the music also just like when you feel your song. I'm singing sometimes. I bleep out some words with the person I'm singing with.
I love music, and I had a bunch of guys from my gym on. We did a roundtable like this, and they reminded me back in the day. Felipe used to put on
the same songs.
The gym motivational.
Yeah,
like you do gym motivation, so there's like music is on, but then there's like somebody speaking over the top. Yeah. So sometimes it's somebody famous, and maybe like David Goggins, or like Schwarzenegger comes on, and Stallone. Like these famous people come on, and they talk about training, and it's like really intense, and it's like, but I think it raised. If you have that on, it raises your intensity during that roll. That used to pump us up on a Saturday morning.
Yeah.
Like that was, going back, those are some of my favorite. But I'm 90s hip hop. Yeah. I love when somebody puts on the music though, and they have a playlist, and then all of a sudden for some reason like a love song comes on or something.
Yeah.
But I love those two. Like I'll start singing that just to fuck around, and especially if you're in the middle of a roll, I think
caress.
Yeah. Come on,
I did
baby.
that for Valentine's Day.
Just let it happen.
I put love ballads for Valentine's Day, and I had a horrible feedback. I like them.
I love those times.
Come back.
Yeah. So okay, we'll go on. The next question, Enrico. We'll start with you. What would you be doing if you hadn't found jiu-jitsu? How old are you again?
19.
19. What would you be doing?
Probably be in school.
Yeah, probably. I mean, I'm school. I'm doing it online, but I would probably just like do like live campus life, like being college and stuff like that. Yeah. Probably. Yeah.
Dude, I don't know. I can't think of anything.
There's a box under a bridge with your name on it. Like you just be like,
Dude,
you didn't have any like. Were you like passionate about school or anything like that? Or?
I wanted to be a physical therapist.
Oh, there you go.
And then the opportunity, happened that like I took over my academy, but I was going to school for, I was taking all anatomy classes and stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
That's so funny. Right. You're the other end of the spectrum.
You're sending you're sending patients to the physical.
Yeah. You're the I break. Yeah. You wanted to be the I. You could be too.
You wanted to repair them.
I break, I fix.
All right. So, are you guys? Again, both of you. Adrian, we'll let you go first. Are you watching a lot of tape? Like, do you watch flow grappling and the WNOs? Are you like, oh shit, there's a WNO on tonight? Are you that guy?
Yeah.
Are you watching everything?
Yeah, all of them to see like what people at the top are doing.
Yeah.
Anything that we could incorporate to our games.
I would agree. Yeah, I definitely watch it. I'm trying to be more active on social media. Did a breakdown of the Petrogatti and Gordon
stuff.
fight. Yeah. So yeah, definitely.
What do you ever? like if you know you're going to be up against somebody? Did you know you were going to be up against John Combs before you got to that?
Until the same day.
The same day. So is there ever a time where you know you might be fighting somebody and you've like looked? Do you watch try to find their stuff?
He's had a lot of white line promotion super fights.
Okay, so, all right, cool. Yeah,
I definitely try to study them. Like I don't get too obsessed over it, but like okay, like they're a good wrestler. Like I'm not gonna try to wrestle them, or I know they have good leg locks, so I know to avoid my legs getting entangled, stuff like that. That just helps me out. And I knew John Combs had a good guillotine. That's what they told me. So when
Combs-atine, they named it after the Combs-atine.
So I was aware of it, you know.
Yeah.
So that's why I think there's value in that. Yeah.
All right, good.
Yeah, man. Because it's hard to beat their guys at their strength. For example, like our friend Matt that I was talking to you about last tournament that he was going against this dude. He was huge with a huge neck, and he had a shirt that said Ohio Wrestling, and he tried to wrestle. He tried to wrestle this guy.
No, he didn't.
What do you think is gonna happen? You know, he went in like hit him first, blast double. Yeah. He almost got him though.
That's almost as bad as when you forget about a wrestling shirt, but whenever you see somebody with the square patch on the back of the gi, and it says like USA, and you know it's a judo guy.
Yeah, and they grab you back here, bro.
Yeah, pulled over.
They get it right.
Dude, there's a electromagnet on my butt that goes to the mat.
Yeah, exactly. Favorite competitors to watch? Enrique. Enrico.
I would say the Rutola brothers. I got a lot of my game from them. The outside passing, the darces. I started doing darces because of them. So
the foot stomp.
So
yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Adrian.
Giancarlo Bodoni.
Bodoni. Who's that? Giancarlo. Okay. Yeah.
He won the last.
That was. I think we had his girlfriend on.
Yeah. Really.
We had his girlfriend on before I knew it was his girlfriend, right?
Renzo,
right?
Giancarlo Bodoni?
He's a Renzo guy?
New Wave, yeah.
Well, New Wave, right there at
correct,
Renzo,
correct.
what is that? Renzo Austin?
Yeah, so
Renzo Gracie Austin, right?
ATX?
Yeah.
Yeah, they do train a teacher, Renzo Gracie Austin, but I think like all the pros train a New Wave together. Yeah, man, I think that guy, well, he's like, we're like similar body types, but he can do everything. He has a phenomenal guard, passing, great takedowns. Like I really love his foot sweeps.
Yeah.
Actually, recently I've been working foot sweeps, and I'm looking at a lot of his footage to see how he's doing it.
Yeah, they sync up real nice to Freebird.
Enrico, I was going to ask this question when you answered the last one, but we'll continue on to this. So, Coach mentioned something before that I think he might have used the word you want to go pro. What is your ultimate goal in jiu-jitsu? Where do you see yourself in 5 and 10 years?
I would say in 5 years, I see ADCC definitely 1 or 2 times at least. And I want to like win worlds and ADCC and stuff like that. But not only that, but I think that one of the better ways to actually like make a living is to have multiple sources of income, like sponsored or like seminars, and then eventually a school that's probably more long-term, like in 10 years or so. So I definitely want, as a competitor, I want to win everything. Like I want to win ADCC, no gi worlds, or whatever it is. Maybe not gi worlds, but we'll talk about that. But yeah, that's definitely my goal right now, 5 years. And I think that I can definitely make a living if I have multiple sources, like I said, like sponsors, seminars, teaching.
What are you going to school for? You said you are taking college classes.
Yes.
What are you going to school for?
I just chose my major. I'm doing physical education, so I can do like physical therapy or something of the sort.
Perfect.
Something sports related, you know.
And Adrian, what's your ultimate goal in this world of jiu-jitsu? I mean, you're a very young gym owner, but where do you see yourself in 5 or 10 years?
Man, my goal is to have the most kick-ass academy, training facility in South Florida. So like I know a lot of martial art academy owners want to have multiple academies. That's not what I want. I want to have one place, but we got everything in that place. We got multiple mats. We have kickboxing, an area for the kids. We have a gym. Yeah. And also like the most kick-ass facility.
Like a weightlifting gym, you mean?
Yeah, exactly. Okay. So you can get all your training there. Bunch of classes, 6:30, noon. So like doesn't matter what your schedule is. Like you could always make it to train.
Okay.
It's kind of like that right now.
The ultimate academy. Nah, but like sometimes
I know what you mean, but like you're actively doing that. There's a MMA class on Mondays. There's 6:30 a.m. classes almost every single day of the week. 9 a.m. executive classes, like 2 or 3 days out of the week.
Executive, so.
Well, it's
We have an executive class, which is they kind of like started on their own. It's from 8 to 9 on Saturdays. But like,
unofficial.
But he allows that. What I'm saying is like he's making
old
the
man's,
gym.
Old man's jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, that's what it is. That's what it
is it 40 and over?
Yeah,
40
yeah,
and over?
yeah. That's what it is.
And they discuss how the young bucks.
Like, we gotta listen. We gotta.
It is. It's a
we gotta figure out Enrico.
Yeah.
We gotta get.
It's the,
Watch that buggy choke.
It's the new world order.
They got a projector. They have graphs.
Yeah.
Little guy with a pointer.
Hey man, I'm saying it again. He's not the only dangerous guy there, man.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's been talking about you for a little bit. He's just like, you gotta have this guy on. I'm like,
2 years.
Still young.
Literally since the first day, I was like, yeah, this kid's special, man.
Appreciate that.
All right.
Yeah.
So we've got the very last question now. Enrico, you talked about like doing social media and stuff like that. So you be careful with the answer to this question because this may come back to haunt you.
Yeah.
You know, when you get famous, right?
No coaching.
Yeah. Do you or do you not wash your jiu-jitsu belt?
You don't have to say anything without your lawyer.
No comment. No comment. Thank you for having me.
I plead the fifth.
Plead the fifth?
Yeah,
What about you,
I think
AJ?
that's the first plead the fifth.
We're coming back to that. We're going to come back to that. What, do you wash your belt?
I think if it stinks, wash it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Come back to Enrico.
Do you believe in the juju? You believe in the juju?
I think the only reason you wouldn't answer it is because you don't wash your belt, which is fine.
It's cool.
It's okay to be disgusting.
Well,
Wagner doesn't wash his belt, and he looks down on you if you do.
Oh, Wagner we had Wagner on. He looked at me like I had 4 fucking heads. He's like, what? Like he's right next to me, and he's just looking at me going like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? He's washing his belt.
Ugh.
If you're really good, you shouldn't be sweating in the first place, so you don't need it. No, I'm just kidding.
That's the best
answer ever. Best answer ever. We're gonna leave it there.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, leave it
I'll bring her
there.
up.
We're gonna leave it there. That's it.
Wait until AC breaks down. Also, guys, we have 2 of our teammates competing tomorrow in Atlanta Open. Both Gian, who we mentioned earlier, and J-Pep. John.
J-Pep.
So if you guys are watching this, good luck. Bring the gold or don't come back.
Thank you to Feito IT and AV, specializing in commercial and residential automation, security cameras, CCTV, POS, and more. Check them out at feitoitav.com or call 305-428-2515 and let them know the dummy sent you. Special thank you to the crew over at Flow and Roll for all their support. Flow and Roll is renowned for their incredible no-gi rash guards, shorts, and leggings. Flow and Roll has quickly become the premier custom apparel provider for academies big and small throughout the United States. Reach out today to discuss your custom order and ask about their incredible pre-order program. You can send an email to flowandroll@gmail.com or visit their Instagram at flow_n_roll and shoot them a direct message. And yes, they can create an awesome custom gi for your academy as well. Visit flowandroll.com to check out their awesome designs, and while you're there, pick up a Jiu-Jitsu Dummy signature tee exclusively at flowandroll.com. And remember, you'll get 20% off your purchase of t-shirts, rash guards, or gis with code JJD.
So I was going to give you a moment to. So first of all, thank you guys for doing this. I really appreciate you coming on. Miguel's been mentioned you guys a long time ago, and then recently I've been after him to get this set up. So thank you for getting it set up, and thank you guys for coming on.
Thank you so much.
I'll give you a minute. Do you want anybody you want to shout out? Give them your Instagram. We'll automatically when we introduce you, and at the end we'll put your Instagram handles. But go ahead and tell everybody where they can find you, and if you want to, sponsor shout outs or anything like that. Go ahead. It's your time.
You can find me on Instagram. It's Enrico BJJ, ENRICO BJJ. And if you guys ever want to learn from me, I teach privates as well. And I'm not currently sponsored. Hopefully, tatami. Maybe one day, one guy can only dream. But
get in now.
Yeah, and that's it.
All right, Adrian, make sure we give him the address, the handle, but also tell them exactly where your gym is.
Yeah, so our Instagram page is Renzo Gracie Weston. Our website is RenzoGracieFlorida.com. If you want to check out our schedule and our classes. The address is 1091 Shotgun Road. We are right out at the border of Weston and Sunrise.
Okay.
The local gym is, there's a U-Fit nearby, so that's a good reference if you live around the area. Yeah, and you could find me at your local Starbucks every Tuesday and Thursday.
Miguel, remind everybody who the heck you are and give them your handle. It's It's been a while.
I don't even know my handle anymore.
It's ingrained in my mind.
Isn't it JJD
JJD underscore DJJ 69?
Yeah, because it's all flipped. You know what I'm saying? Even
and the 69 is what?
It's the dinner for two. You know what I mean? No, yeah, you could find me. I'm starting to get a little bit more active. I've gotten my
You took
phone.
a break for a little bit.
I had a horrible phone addiction that I had to take care of. I've had a lot of good things happen in my life lately that have required my attention. That's why I've been away from the podcast.
Sure.
And I've had to settle into a new role at work. And I really didn't want to sacrifice my time with my family and jiu-jitsu because ultimately I love talking about jiu-jitsu. I could literally do this shit all day.
I know it.
I love it. I love it. But man, do I love going to the gym, training with these guys, talking with these guys, you know, and the environment, the culture. I would highly suggest, you know, get your children into jiu-jitsu, whichever gym. Just know, do a trial, feel out the gym, see what the culture's like, see if you like it. There's red flags out there. They're easy to see. And there's more green flags than there are red flags. Just go out there and go train.
All right. So again, everybody, thank you guys. Appreciate you. Hold on. Let's do it on air.
Yeah. What do we got?
Got some T-shirts for you guys.
Hey.
All right. Now, the only thing I'm out of is large. But I think if I gave you a large, it'd probably be short on you. I'm hoping that you is an XL too big?
That's fine.
So all right, so we give you guys. There's XL. There's a medium. If you want to, think your fiance is probably a medium. She can grab one as well.
He is not a medium.
A small. I'm sorry. Wait. So I should say I only have medium. My apologies. Let me. I don't want to insult anybody. Wow, she's a medium. So listen. Thank you everybody. Thank you guys for doing this. Thank you guys everybody for watching and listening. Check us out at Jiu-Jitsu Dummies for all the ways to watch, listen, and support. You can check me out at Uncle Milty BJJ on Instagram. Yep. And thanks for watching and listening, everybody. Peace, love, jiu-jitsu.
Thank you, bye.
Bye, guys.